That's
Yeah,
it,
50
I think.
hertz.
I think that's done it. Right, welcome to the virtual repair cafe. I'm sure there'll be some more people along in a minute.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what time it started, so
yeah,
I just thought I'll try it.
Around about 7 o'clock till 8.
Yeah.
This. Have you got something to fix or something, or are you just come just for a look and a chat? And
Yeah,
see what
pretty
it's all
much.
about? Yeah, that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
Unless you know anything about eMMC chips.
I don't personally, but there might be somebody along in a bit who will.
Yeah, I've got an old Asus tablet thing, but it's only got a 32 gig eMMC chip inside. And when you install Windows, it's fine, but as soon as it tries to update, there's not enough room. And I've tried putting an SD card in 128 gig, and it's just a nightmare. It still tries to use the C drive as opposed to what you've put in.
Install something that's not Windows. Try putting Linux on it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's much smaller generally.
Yeah.
Windows is very bloated, so you need a lot of space for it.
Yeah, but no, I've pulled the old chip out. I've been trying to find one to fit in it, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for in regards to. I don't know if the pinouts are all the same on them, or so we'll find out later.
We've got a couple of people. I don't know if they're going to turn up on here tonight, but we have got a couple of people that do computers and mobile phones and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In fact, we've got a guy who repairs mobile phones for a living, tablets and that.
That's good then.
So he might be the man if he pops up. I've sent him an email, but whether or not he'll pop up, I don't.
It might need repairing when I finish with it.
Yeah. When you've thrown it out the window.
Yeah. Well, right. I'm actually thinking about resoldering the old chip back on, because it's one where all the balls are underneath it and you've got to use hot air. So it's a bit of a practice for me, really. So,
yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you might end up doing that, I think.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice just to try it and just see if it still works after I've put it back on again, just to make sure I've done it right.
Yeah, use it as a learning exercise.
Exactly. Well, it's not going to get used otherwise, so.
Yeah, that's what you have to do with a lot of these things. That you use it as a learning exercise.
Yeah.
Video it when you do, though, and put it on YouTube, because somebody else will want to know, I'm sure.
Well, I've learned all my stuff from like Lewis Rossman and people like that. You know, the one that does the MacBook repairs and things. He's very good.
Yeah, there's hundreds. General Electronics one is Big Clive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Big Clive.
I've got quite a few. I can't. There's because I know there's Dave, Kangaroo Dave, isn't there? There's they've gone.
Yeah, I ought to compile a list of them really and stick some links on our Repair Cafe website.
I've been watching one is a little Indian guy that does. It just seems to do SMPs, switch mode power supplies. He walks you through it from the basic filtering to your rectification, and then to like how it powers the IC that drives the square wave, for the where it goes into your transformer. And he walks you all through it, and this is what if this is happening, then this is your problem, and it is great. It really taught me a lot.
Excellent. Smashing.
So that would have been off Shango as well. Shango 66, you heard of him?
Who's that, sorry?
Shango 66 in America.
Right, no, I've not. I'll have to have a look at that one. What does he deal with?
Vintage TVs, radios, a lot of valve stuff.
Yeah.
They've been to valves, anything with valves in it, but he does tackle more modern stuff as well.
I'm trying to think. There is one that I've got on Patreon at the minute. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me in a bit. He does old radios. with valves and things like that, and old oscilloscopes, and it's just quite interesting.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but it's on my phone.
I used to calibrate oscilloscopes for a living as part of the calibration lab.
Right.
Is it Mr. Carlson's lab? Is that who you're thinking of?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
The one that has the really funny camera shot where just his head at the bottom of the screen and loads of electronic gubbins.
Lab.
Yeah, just oscilloscopes all the way around him.
Oscilloscopes and radio sets and all kinds of strange things.
Do you think he'd miss one?
While we've been chatting, Matt, I've found a phone that's got the same problem that yours has.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that. I don't know how well that comes out.
Yeah, exactly the same. Yeah. Was that an N1901 as well?
It's an N1900 E69. This.
Yeah.
They're all N1900, and then there's some code after that.
Some digits after it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the code after that makes a bit of a difference on some of them. This one's interesting because this one's been done for like a tropical climate.
Oh yeah.
Because it's got that grill on there, you see.
I think mine's got that as well. It's all in bits at the moment. No, it's not this one. There's another phone I've got in the other room. It's a 706 that's got one of them on it.
Yeah. What that grill is for? It's to seal it up, and it's to stop venomous spiders and things finding a home inside it.
Oh yes.
When you're in the tropics. So the question is, can we get at the bell?
Yeah. So the best solution I found, but it is destructive, is just get a small screw and just screw it through the plastic cap. But
I'm not sure I'm just trying to keep it as visual as possible.
Yeah.
We've already had to replace the case. What happened to this phone is it got posted, got all converted and everything and ready to go. And the lady was really looking forward to it. And she opened it up. And lo and behold, cracked case.
Oh no! Ow!
What colour is it?
Elephant grey.
Probably not.
Yeah, and they've got a new case. That's fine, and it fits on lovely. But obviously, something else happened to it, and the bell mechanism is loose. And I think it's just obviously, I don't know whether it's twisted the screw round or something or whatever, but it's not able to ring very well.
Right, Matt, I've done it. Yeah. I used a very, very tiny flat-bladed screwdriver.
Right, yeah.
And I managed to, it was a little bit destructive, but I don't know if you can see that, or if it's in focus. Hang on.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
But I managed to pierce the centre of that and flick it off. And
right.
You can now see.
You can get access to the screw, hopefully. Yeah, yes.
It was just a little cover that was pushed in there.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're just pushed in, aren't they? They're not glued in or anything like that. Or
no, that certainly was just pushed in, yeah.
Do you think it's only on tropicalised phones that happens?
No, I don't think that is. I think that thing that covers the screw up is on any phone.
On all like Mark 1s.
Yeah, on all the Mark 1 cases. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you sort of stabbed it in the middle and then pulled it and flipped it out.
I think it might depend on the manufacturer as to what it's on as well.
Yeah.
So I think you can stab it in the middle with a tiny screw. I mean, there's my fingers, so you can see the size of the screwdriver I use. One of these little
a tiny electric screwdriver type thing. Yeah, I might have a bit like that somewhere.
Anything that's got a very sharpish point on it.
Yeah,
I think we'll be able to sort of pierce it and flick it out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like a dental pick or something like that.
Yeah.
A bit like what I do with them. I came across Bosch batteries, and they have a little plastic cap in them to stop you from dismantling them. It's pretty similar to how I did with a wood screw. Put it through the middle, and it just lifts it up on the threads.
Yeah.
Makes it nice and easy. It does leave it with a hole, though.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm just going to have to make it so that if the caps look a bit messy, I'm just going to leave them out.
Yeah, failing that, some black silicon. If you've got, you know, if you happen to have a tube laying around, just squirt a bit into the hole. And...
Yeah, yeah. A bit like potting compound or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, potting compound would do it, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anything like that. But I think it probably depends on the manufacturer.
Yeah.
As to
who was that one made by? That's an Ericsson, that phone.
This one's an Ericsson, yeah.
Yeah. Looks very similar. It's an elephant grey one like mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
In fact, the case on that one looks quite new. This old case looks a bit faded. The new one's a lot more like that. So when it's together,
yeah, this one
it looks really nice actually. This phone.
I think I may have given this one the what's it treatment. I may have given this one the acetone treatment.
Yeah. Oops.
Looking at the front of it, it's just a bit faded on the top.
Yeah, yeah. It should be obviously that colour when it went, but obviously the old one is faded. But it was in nice when it went to the customer. It was in nice cosmetic condition, but then this really crap happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, it'd been either thrown or something like that.
They've given it a hell of a whack to do that.
They have. Yeah. The box as well was really, I mean, you got fragile twice on the top where the address goes, fragile on all the other 6 sides of the box.
Yeah.
You just can't. I mean, I've even now put in I've redesigned one of my labels, so it's a precision telecoms equipment enclosed, you know, something like that. So they might have a little bit of respect for it.
Yeah, I don't think they will. This is what always puts me off posting them to people.
Yeah.
You could do it. You can sell them and that, but the tricky bit is getting onto the customers. The way I used to do it was I used to have a stall in the local antique centre, stand in the local antique centre, and just sell them through that. And then of course people come and get them, take them away. Don't have to worry about the postage thing.
Yeah. I was doing that because I'm from Northumberland, live in Northumberland now, and we got a few antique shops around here, but obviously down because of the corona, everybody's shutting up shop, you know, and so most of them are on Etsy now. So it's like all the eggs in one basket at the moment. But you're certainly welcome to have this case. If you could do anything with it?
To be honest with you, being a grey one, probably not worth doing anything with it.
If it was like a Concord blue or something like that, it'd probably be.
Yeah, if it were a blue one or a red one, or maybe even a green one, or a yellow one, it's worth doing. But the grey one, there's a guy who does them up, who's also up towards your neck of the woods somewhere.
Oh, is it Telling Bones?
At least he's north. No, I don't think he's Telling Bones. He's
he's
Middlesbrough.
Oh, Middlesbrough, yeah.
Yeah, a fella called Simon. And he does them as well, but he puts new cases on stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one that makes all these purple and orange.
Oh yeah,
phones
pink
and that,
all that sort of thing. But he does cases up as well.
Yeah. So what he does, he takes the old cases off.
Yeah.
And he puts his new cases on. Then every now and again I get a call to go and collect his old cases that he's took off.
Right.
So I've got a garage full basically of grey and ivory ones. So if you want a grey or an ivory one, let me know, because I've got a garage full of them.
Yeah, if they're in reasonable condition, I might buy some off you.
Yeah.
They're about 10 to 50 normally, but yeah. I think
they're not bad. Some of them have got a bit of discoloration on them.
Yeah.
But if you can polish it out, or if you can live with it, then then you're all right.
Yeah.
Evening, Ian.
Good evening, Andy. And the other gentlemen, good evening to you all.
Hello.
Yeah. Alan was here a minute ago as well.
You look like you're sitting in a music studio. Got a piano or a keyboard?
No, I do electrical and pat testing for a couple of charities.
Oh, I do pat testing as well.
Things have been as they are at the moment.
Yeah.
I test for Sue Ryder at Hillsborough.
Oh, yeah.
And what they do is box everything up, all the donations. I pick them up once a week, and I pat test in my garage.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Following week, take them back, pick up another box, and it just keeps the business going.
Yeah.
Until, of course, today. And now everything's
Rider's not open. Yeah. I never thought about approaching them, because I'm a pat tester myself. I mean, I'll do the phones as like one part of my business, and pat testing as another. It's a mobile pat testing service off the back of a motorbike.
Mm.
So it was originally called, my company is Mongoose Northumberland. It used to be called Mongoose Bike-Based Businesses. Because generally it was bike-based, but with the telephones being more of a fixed thing that I do here and sell from here, we decided to change the name to Mongoose Northumberland.
Mm-hmm.
Whereabouts are you located, Joe?
Sheffield.
In Sheffield, right.
Sheffield,
yeah. So is that the instrument in for a pat test, is it?
I'm sorry, say again.
Is the instrument in for a pat test then? The instrument behind you.
I'm sorry, your voice is sounding very echoey. I'm struggling.
I'll bring the microphone a bit closer. Oh, it's falling out now. Yes, the internal mic doesn't work very well on the computer.
Well, I'll tell you now, I got 2 hearing aids as well, so my hearing's not the best. So.
Right. Is that a bit better now?
It is. It
is. Okay. Right.
You were saying?
Feel more like a podcaster now with the mic in shot, but yeah. As I was saying, the instrument behind you, is that in for a pat test then?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I've got another keyboard here just out of sight.
Yeah.
So it's terminal. I'm afraid my electronics is very limited.
Yeah.
So I give it a go, but I get to a stage where I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah.
So,
I've got a cupboard full of defunct instruments. I mean, I've been a musician for over 30 years. Right. So I've got various instruments, an old 1980s Yamaha 680. I would love to get going again, but I think it might be down to capacitors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it just keeps crashing. You know, these like FM synthesizers of that time, you know, and I think it's 1988, so it is getting on a bit.
Yeah, they've probably dried up a bit by now.
Yeah, so probably a recap might work on that, and it wouldn't be such a hard job as if like the main processor went or something like that.
Yeah.
But as a musician, I mean, I've got a CTK 6000 now. This is my main gigging instrument, but I can't go gigging at the moment, so.
I'm afraid my electronics with this sort of thing. I can check power supply. I can look out for the odd protective diode that might have blown.
Yeah.
After that, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Ian.
We've always disappeared behind an Explorer.
Are you on a computer with a separate webcam, Ian, at the minute?
It's an addition on a USB.
Right.
It's a PC computer.
Can you focus it? Because you're very, very blurred.
Oh, right.
You can normally sort of twist the lens on them when they're separate webcams. And give it a... That might be better.
Yeah.
That's better. You can probably go a bit further.
Right, we'll try it a bit more.
speak as you do it, Ian, so we can see you.
Right, I'm all the way one way.
No, you're out of focus again now. Go back a bit.
Always very awkward when they autofocus, trying to focus on something.
That's better.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's better.
That's better. Can you see him? I can't see him at the minute. Yeah, it's better.
Of you gentlemen, Anthony looks the best to me on for clarity.
I'm just on the iPhone.
I've got 50 hertz main tone from the fluorescent lamp, I'm afraid.
Yeah, there's a bit of sort of glare on yourself.
Yeah, a bit of hum on the screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You do get that with these old 50 hertz ballast. It's a bit of an unfortunate thing. Yeah. It's the only way to get a really bright picture at night. It's a good 6000K tube though, so gives a fairly. I've got lights all round me, so you get some of these have got high frequency ballast. It should be okay, but obviously the big one, 50 hertz mains one, which isn't the same as the scanning rate of the camera. I don't know what they do. Is it 60 hertz? I think, isn't
it? Yeah, I think you can set them. So sometimes you can set them.
Yeah.
You know, you
probably in the computer settings in your control panel or something.
Yeah, sometimes you can set them
one
to 50 or
built in.
60.
Yeah.
Because I think the broadcasting software that I use to do the Sunday night live stream thing, I think you can set that to 50 or 60 hertz.
Yeah.
For the cameras.
The lighting. Yeah.
Yeah, because that just uses webcams and that. It pushes the limit of what it can do actually.
Yeah.
So that's probably not helping with the reliability problems we've been having with it. But it pushes it a bit. So what's happening with your pack testing now then, Ian? Is I assume the shop's shut, but you can you're probably still allowed to do it because voluntary work are still allowed to do stuff.
Yeah, well, I test for Sue Ryder, and there's no central depot, so all the donations come straight into the shop. And as you say, the shop's closed, so that's it. No more donations.
All right, so they don't have somewhere where they sort it out then, Sue Ryder.
No, Sue Ryder's much more popular further south, and they're only really opening up north to a greater degree much more recently.
So if you donate something to a Sue Ryder shop, it actually gets sold through that shop, does it?
Yes, generally. There is a certain amount of sorting goes on, and anything that's considered worthwhile could be sent to a more specialist shop. Some of them do vintage style equipment. Some of the stuff is supposed to go on eBay, but at the moment, everything seems to be a little bit strange, and there's a load of eBay stuff down there. Nothing's happening.
Yeah, I bought some sewing machines once off eBay, and it turned out they were from the Ashgate Hospice shop in Chesterfield.
Yeah.
And when I went to pick them up, I went to this warehouse, absolutely massive place. It put Tesco's to shame. Huge, £40 million sort of operation.
Yes.
And they said, oh, anything that's worthwhile comes here, and we put it on eBay. And I thought, well, that's a right good incentive to go into your shops, isn't it? If you basically what you're telling me is nothing worthwhile in your shop, shan't be bothering going in Ashgate Hospice shop again.
Oh, good point. Good point. Similar to Ashgate Hospice, in Sheffield, we have St. Luke's Hospice. And
I've heard of them,
Theirs is a much more professional setup, as you've described Ashgate. So in just recent times, they've opened a central depot down Darnell Way, and everything goes in there and then comes out to the appropriate locations.
Yeah.
So that's much more as you've described with Ashgate.
So this is why you never find anything interesting in a charity shop then? Why it's just all old clothes and records? And
well, to be honest, I don't go anywhere near the old clothes. I don't want to know. I'm just interested in electrical and that's it.
Yeah, but you never find anything interesting in a charity shop because it is just piles of old clothes. And that's probably why, because all the interesting stuff, they filter it out into a depot somewhere.
If you're in Sheffield sometime, have a look down at Sue Ryder. Down at Hillsborough, near Sheffield Wednesday ground. Yeah. And I'm not so happy about it when I'm not there because, well, for a while I was a shopkeeper. I had my own newsagent shop. And I like to see the shelves being stacked properly. So I go in there at the moment. I've not been going in for a while now because my daughter's shielding and, you know, that's another story.
Yeah.
But I've had to be a bit more careful. So I've had a quick look round the corner into the showroom and I think, my God, look at those shelves. They're a right mess. It looks like a bloody charity shop in there, you know, which it is. But that's by the way. When I'm there, everything's polished, it's placed. Damn customers will keep coming in and sort of moving things and not putting them back. But okay, you know what it's like.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but there's the,
my wife worked
rubbish factor, though. I used to have a stall on Chesterfield Market here. I don't know if I've told you before or not. And everybody on Chesterfield Market, as in markets everywhere, was struggling. And there was one stall he used to turn up on the Thursday market, which was the sort of tap market, you know, the sort of car boot saley sort of stuff. And what he used to do, he did house clearances, this fella, as I understand it, and he had big, tatty old cardboard boxes. When I say big cardboard boxes, they were boxes big enough that you could sort of crouch down inside and you could seal it up with you in it. Cardboard boxes like that. And he just had about a dozen of these that he chucked out on the stall, and they were all just piled high of random stuff. And the number of people around that stall was incredible.
Yeah,
you know, the rummage factor going through these boxes, and there wasn't a thing in any of these boxes that were worth buying. It were all broken or incomplete or not working, but people were buying it. And I think he just chalked on the box or something like any item 50p, and and he emptied them by the end of the blooming day.
I've been to America, and I was thinking back to when I went to the Salvation Army shop, and literally you could buy anything there, from old tapes and stuff like that to a complete 1960s TV, you know, in working order and things like that, and old telephones and all manner of electronic products, like, you know. If a factory went bust down the road, they were going to clear it out, you know, and you have like multimeters and stuff like that. There's very few places like that in England now. I mean, there used to be like the Stewarts of Reading and places like that that sold old test equipment.
Yeah.
But we've heard of them.
There were all sorts of places, weren't there? I mean, there was Anchor Supplies that did all military stuff.
Supplies,
they had lots of that as well. But now, Anchor Supplies are still around, but they have a lot of just sort of modern tools from China now. They do and stuff like that.
In Sheffield, in Sheffield, there used to be a shop called Bardwell's, and they've been in Sheffield for donkeys, and they've packed in now. They've gone, which is such a shame.
And they went overnight as well. They did.
Pretty cool. The old man died, didn't he? And I think that was a precursor. And then it lasted for some years after that, I think. But when the old guy went, I think the writing was on the wall then.
I went into that shop about a week before it closed, maybe a fortnight before it closed, because we did a repair cafe at Healy Farm just before it closed. And I went in there for some bits. And a couple of weeks later, I went back and it was shut. And there's no sign of it closing when I went in. A couple of weeks later, it was shut. I think Alan's with us as well. Alan, if you can hear me, you can't take part at the minute because your microphone's muted. You need to unmute
You need to
your mic,
unmute yourself. Yeah.
It's a little button in the bottom left-hand corner.
I see, isn't it?
Don't want to hear me because of all the fireworks.
Oh, blimey. Yeah, I can. Where are you, Alan?
I know it.
Where am I? What did you say?
Where are you? Are you at the bottom of you're at the bottom of the garden?
Yeah.
Well,
can you see me fire?
I can see you at the minute. Yeah, you cancel. Yeah, turn the camera down just a bit. Yeah. Well, that's very good for firework night, isn't it? 5th of November.
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed with that. It's very atmospheric. Your your camera. Why did we not think of that?
I think my wife would have a problem if I set a fire up in this back bedroom. Best.
Fireworks have calmed down a bit now, but they've been horrendous. I could hardly even hear what you were saying earlier. I
could do with setting some fireworks off or something in this loft. It's a bit chilly up here. Yes. So, well, there are not many of the regular Repair Cafe people on here tonight. We were hoping to get an electronics person in, Alan.
No, fine.
You've not heard from any of them, have you? Either Gareth or Ollie the eye doctor.
I've not heard anything from anybody.
Oh, all right. That's that then. That's we were hoping to find an electronics person, but not to worry. We'll carry on anyway, and do. But yeah, yes. R.I.P. Bardwells. Where do I get my resistors from now?
Yeah.
eBay, probably.
China.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Then when Maplin went bust, that went very suddenly, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I used to get.
The strange thing about Maplin's was nothing got reduced in price.
No, it just disappeared.
It all disappeared, and now Maplin's is back.
Is it?
The only thing that came out of Maplin's, if I can pick this phone up, the only thing that I ever got cheap out of Maplin's when they were very, very, very sort of close to the end, the crates that stuff used to come in to Maplin's, I managed to get some of the crates, and I don't know if I can do this. Can you? I can
see them. Oh, you've gone.
Can I chip that out? What's happened now? It's stuck.
Disconnected, I think, camera.
Right, is that me again?
Yeah.
Not sure.
Don't be too surely.
Lost you.
Zoom isn't responding.
There they are. Yeah.
There. Yeah, those crates there. You probably see it says property of Maplin Electronics on the side of it. Well,
so you got a piece of Maplin there.
They were the only thing I've ever got from Maplin's that was worth getting from Maplin, sort of thing. And some little screwdrivers. The little screwdriver that Big Clive uses in all his videos. I got one of them for £1 out of Maplin when it was shutting.
Oh yeah.
And then the pound shop sold them anyway for £1. So
yeah, I saw them in the pound shop.
It made not much difference. But they're back now, of course. Maplin's, they're back online. If you go online and search Maplin's, it's like the website's like it never went away. So I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's the same company, if it's a different company using the old branding and that, but it's back pretty much just as it was. It seems.
Well, there's that other online company in there. Is it CPC?
CPC, yeah.
Is it CPC?
then there's RS.
Yeah.
And Farnell.
Well, CPC are part of Farnell, aren't they?
Are they? Yeah.
I understand so.
Yeah. Used to use Farnell and RS quite a bit at my old place. And Mappin. Yeah. RS tended to be quite expensive in there, you know, right in the day. I don't know whether they've become more competitive now, because I mean, of all the, you know, you can just go into eBay now and virtually make up your components from all different suppliers at a very reasonable price nowadays.
eBay's made it possible for the suppliers to have their own shop, hasn't it, sort of thing? So they cut out the middle.
Yeah.
And
like the people that used to supply all the plastic cases, Turrington Components, are very active on eBay, and they're much cheaper than they were on eBay. It's like somebody else is trying to join us.
Yeah, I think it's Andrew.
It is.
Andrew Manas.
Yes, I can hear you, Andrew. Yeah.
Right. I can't get my picture to work for some reason. It has been working. I'll keep at it.
Yeah, I've got no idea what's happening. You've got a strange sort of spinning symbol at my end, like a spinning circle and thing.
Yeah, I've got it too. So
yeah, no idea what that means. Sorry.
I'll stop it and start again in a minute.
Yeah. Maybe shut off, Andrew, and reboot your computer or whatever, and it might come back.
Okay. See you in a bit.
Okay. Ta-da. It might be that that Zoom's a bit overloaded with this lockdown thing starting again.
Yeah.
So
we used to have lots of problems here up in sort of Belford, where I'm from. But they had the OpenReach guys have come and put more infrastructure in, I think, because it was always constantly overloading here. The day of the lockdown, that was it. I had no internet for days on end. And of course, trying to sell stuff on my Etsy site and things like that, well, I had no chance. I didn't know whether it sold anything. So at the time, I was just going down to a friend's house. We were able to go to people's houses at that time. It was before they had like a total lockdown. But it wasn't ideal, and eventually OpenReach appeared in our lane. Put some new, I think they put new multiplexes in because they were just totally overloaded, because they weren't obviously thinking when they put them in of everybody being streaming 6,000 line video at the time.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That it really over. When the lockdown happened, my YouTube analytics tripled overnight.
Yeah.
I went from something like about 800 watch minutes a month to just over 2,000, and the graph just went overnight when it happened, and then it's gradually sort of petered off a bit again. It still ended up higher than it originally was, though. So it's done. If coronavirus has done nothing else, it's done a little bit of good for YouTube. So
I suppose it's made more people buy phones as well, because the thing is, with, as I said in the email about the modern DECT phones, you get about 25 minutes and then they're dead, and you have to charge them up for 3/4 of an hour. Whereas one of these old phones, you can be on them for as long as you want, like, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of my customers have said, well, at least you're not getting RFI on your ear, and you're not getting, you can be on the phone for 2 hours to your friend and have a good chat.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
like that.
And depending on how you connect it up, you can also be on it for free as well. And in a lot of cases these days, I run what they call a CNET server here. Have you heard of CNET?
I've heard of it. I've heard you mention it.
Yeah.
So how does that work then?
It basically, what it is, it uses a little box. I've got one here. uses a little box like this. This is what they call an analog terminal adapter.
Yeah.
And on this box, you plug your internet into it.
Yeah.
So you plug your router into it, and you can also plug two phones into it.
Oh yeah.
You say now that this has got sockets on for American phones, so you have to put an adapter in. But you basically plug a phone into it, and then this box turns any phone into any landline phone into a VoIP phone.
Oh
It's voice over IP.
Yeah.
So you can go to a voice over IP service and set an account up with them, and use a phone, use your old phone through these boxes. Now, some of these boxes, this one is what they call a PAP2, a Linksys PAP2. This one only works with DTMF phones.
Yeah.
But you can get a Grandstream version of this, made by a company called Grandstream, and they work with pulse dialing.
Right.
The Grandstream one.
So
you can have a dial phone on it.
Oh wow.
And then I have a little server that is basically a VoIP server. So anybody who's on my server, all their boxes connect to my server, and it connects the calls as necessary.
Yeah.
And now the way CNET works, if you imagine my VoIP server being like an old-fashioned local telephone exchange, then CNET connects all those little VoIP servers together.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm sat here in, let's say, Chesterfield. All right. And let's say you've got one. What's your local town up there?
Berwick.
Where are you near? You're near Berwick. Right.
Near Berwick.
Yeah, Berwick could be an exchange. I'm sure Berwick's an exchange.
Yeah.
So you would have Berwick on your system, and it uses the old-fashioned phone numbers. So before we put the ones and things in.
Yeah.
So like instead of Chesterfield being 01246, it's still 0246.
0246. Like yeah.
So what it does is most people on the system just have a phone and a box like this.
Yeah.
Some people on the system that are running exchanges, it's all a voluntary thing. Some people that are running exchanges, they have one of these little servers.
Yeah.
You know? And then all these servers communicate with each other all over the world. And you can basically call anybody else on CNET anywhere in the world and talk to them as long as you want for free, because it's actually going over the internet. But you do it using your vintage telephone. And
you dial it just like dialing a normal number. Sort of thing, as long as they've got CNET.
You dial just like a normal number, but CNET tends to use the old-fashioned, at least in the UK, it uses the old-fashioned numbers.
Yeah.
And that. But so you can call anybody else anywhere in the world that's on CNET. And there's a lot of museums all over the world that are connected to it and things. And all these heritage railways and places like that are connected to it. But also these little server things, you can have recorded messages on them.
Yeah.
So if you remember things like dial-a-disc.
Oh yeah.
Or stuff, or like the speaking clock and that, you can dial in and you can do things like dial-a-disc and the speaking clock and recorded messages and stuff like that. So a lot of the use of CNET is people in these museums where they've got a phone out in front on like an interactive display. Kids will pick up the phone, ring up somebody, and they'll actually be ringing across the other side of the world and dialing into my CNET server to see what time it is in the UK, and they'll get the old-fashioned speaking clock.
Oh wow.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's all incredibly cheap to do because these servers are based on second-hand thin client computers.
So something like an old XP want to do it.
Yeah, well, you can actually do it on a Raspberry Pi. You can turn a Raspberry Pi into one of these servers.
Oh yeah, wow.
And these little boxes, you can pay a lot of money for them, but these Linksys ones, you can get these for about 10 or 15 quid.
Very good.
So there's something to think about to link your old phones together.
Yeah, and link other people. You know, if you can look like, you know, I suppose the telecoms companies don't want you to know about this.
No,
so you can make free phone calls.
one thing that CNET does quite well, although it links everybody up, what a lot of people have it for is if they've got a family member who lives away somewhere.
Yeah.
They can make phone calls to that family member that lives. A lot of people who've got kids at university and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, because you can also get an app on your phone.
Yeah.
And link that into CNET, and a VoIP app on your phone, link that in, so you can actually you don't have to have an old phone. You can do it off your modern mobile phone, off your smartphone.
Yeah.
And
so it can be a landline or a mobile then.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Is it just CNET or C-NET?
Right. If you actually look for it online, it's not CNET at all because there's another website online that's called CNET. I think CNET online is ckts.info.
ckts.info. Let me go get a pen and write that down.
Yeah, I think it's ckts.info. Well, Matt's going and getting his pen. I better say hello to Gordon, who I think turned up.
And Andrew, we've got visual now.
Yes. Hey there, Gordon. Gordon, you need to unmute you. Hello.
C, etc.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's been ages. You're a bit quiet, Gordon.
Right. Oh, I need to. You need to have, I think, a full head view before you can hear me properly. Is that better?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, you might have got a setting in your sound settings. You can tweak your microphone up somewhere.
Right. I think if I have the microphone too high, you get a bit of interference, though.
Oh yeah, we did before, didn't we? Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
Needs repairing, Gordon.
Oh, it's too hard.
Yeah.
Feedback thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably because the microphone and the camera and the speakers are all add-ons. They're not part of the computer setup.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it's better when they're add-ons, and they tend to be better quality when they're add-ons. But I have had problem getting it.
That probably implies how much you pay for the piece of kit in the first place. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I never pay anything for anything.
No.
There's bits inside my computer that are at least 20 years old and still going. Things like power supplies and keyboards and stuff like that. Right. You might even find some bits of my computer that say Commodore on them if you look really close. But, what's been happening, Gordon?
Oh, the phone's ringing. Hang on. I'll speak to you in a bit.
Right, it's for you, that. Right. You see, it's not on CNET, it's just on a on an ordinary phone. Yeah, Matt. ckts.info, I think, is the one.
Yeah. ckts.info.
And if you want to connect to it, the way you do it, if you get one of these little boxes, or I would suggest a GrandStream box, because the GrandStream ones do pulse dialing.
What's it called? An analog?
An analog terminal adapter. But the older GrandStream box, which work just fine, are models 502 or 702, I believe.
Yeah, I'll try that.
But when you want to connect to the system, you have to connect to one of these servers. So you'd have to get in touch with me or somebody else that's running a server, and then you connect your box to our server. So if I'm running the server that's got like Chesterfield Exchange on it, let's say, you would end up with a Chesterfield number. So you'd end up with an 0120246 number, even though you're not actually in Chesterfield. It pretends to be geographic, but it's not. But you can then, if you want, set up a server yourself, and then you have to get in touch with a fella called Ian Jolly in Wales, because he administers who has what blocks of numbers. You see, and he administers who's running what exchange, if you want, for want of a word. So I actually run the exchanges for, what do I run? Staveley and a place called Clown with an E on the end, which are both actually quite near me. And I think Ian runs Chesterfield on his server, because when I started, nobody had Chesterfield, and I just wanted to connect one of these. So Ian runs Chesterfield, so I could connect this up to him. And then when I got the server in, I started running Staveley and Clown, both off one server. But that's another one. That's a Cisco Systems one. But it's the same idea, you see.
Yeah. So you have a UK to USA adapter plug into the. Yeah.
You just either have an adapter, or you just chop the UK plug off the end of your phone and put a US one on. But you can get little adapters to do it. And then just plug it in and go. The only thing to tell you is, when you buy one of these, chances are you'll be buying them second hand off eBay or somewhere like that. Make sure you get one that's not locked to a network.
Okay.
Because if they've been used on one of the big VoIP networks, like Vonage in America or something like that. Then sometimes they're locked to that network, a bit like our mobile phones are locked to a network. You can't put just anybody's SIM in.
You end up trying to phone somebody, and it's actually, say, in Australia or something like that.
Well, the whole thing just wouldn't work, because when you first set these boxes up, you have to what they call SSH into them on your computer. The box will tell you like a web address or something normally. And you type that in on your normal web browser, and then that shows you the settings in the box, a bit like looking at your router settings. And then you have to set the box up with all your username and details and that for whatever CNET server you're connecting to, you see. But it's really good. Mine is down at the minute because the server had a power supply problem. You know, the little power supply bricks. The little power supply brick like that. The brick just blew up that runs the server, because it had been on for 3 years solid without stopping, without being switched off, you see. And it went poof one night. Well, it didn't go poof, it just stopped working one day. I thought, what's happened here? And it turns out it's the power supply that's delivering something like 9 volts instead of 12 volts, but it's enough that the circuitry inside it doesn't work right. It still all lights up to fool you, to make you think it's working, but it's just not working right on the inside.
Right.
It's interesting to see these things you're holding up, because quite frequently, we get stuff donated and I have no idea what it is. So that's something that I might just identify in future, should something like that come in.
There you go. That's a Linksys one. And that's a Cisco Systems one. But the thing you're looking for, Ian, on them, is you're
can I
looking.
Can I just interrupt to tell you I've got to go for me tea. I'll maybe see you later.
Okay. What are you having, Gordon? Anything nice?
I hope so.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's not beans on toast then. He was keen, so it's not beans on toast.
Yeah, fancy dinner or something.
Yeah, the thing you're looking for, Ian, is what gives it away. You're looking for something with an Ethernet port on it, and at least one, maybe more, of these American-style phone ports on them.
But these particular units sound rather not going to be too common, so it's unlikely I will see them. But as I said, very often things come in and what the heck is it? I Google them. My son's a bit more knowledgeable, so I get hold of him in Barnsley, and he tells me what various things are. And very often he uses language that I don't understand anyway. But yeah, it's always interesting. Yeah, always interesting to see things, even if I don't understand what they are.
Yeah, ATAs, analog terminal adapters.
Yep.
Is the name for them. If you look on eBay, you'll see lots and lots of different ones on eBay.
Right. All right.
If you're
more popular than I was imagining.
Yeah. There's a lot of them around. Now people are not having normal phone lines anymore. Now people are doing more and more over the internet. If they want an ordinary landline phone in the house, that's the way to connect it, you see.
Right, yeah.
So, but a lot of routers now have these ATAs built in. You'll find a phone port on your router as well these days. So these little standalone boxes, eventually I think will not be a thing anymore. A bit like now people don't have Freeview boxes for the TV anymore, do they? Built into all the TV.
Yeah, it's all built into the monitor now. Yeah.
So, which is a shame, because when it's all in a separate box, you know which bit's gone wrong, and you can just replace that bit. All good fun.
Oh, very good.
Right, who have we got now? I'm just looking to see who's here. Oh, it looks like Andrew's managed to get back in.
Yes, I'll tell you why I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because I've found on the YouTube a system whereby I can use my phone to act as a camera to show up on Zoom. But you have to change the Zoom setting to say that you want your phone as the camera, which I'd forgotten to unset, so it didn't show me, it just would have showed my phone. So that's what it was. Because I thought it would be good to know. Go on.
Have you got like a remote? Can you use your phone as a remote camera then to Zoom? It zooms on you. Well, that's a trick I didn't know you could do.
I can tell you, I'll give you the reference if you like. I can find it. Hold on, let's see if I can find it.
It's a damn good picture that is as well tonight, Andrew. I don't know what camera you've got there, but it's really good.
What do you can you see?
I can see you at the minute.
Okay, well, it's my I've got my screen up. Okay, so the YouTube thing is
writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help.
Hold on. Yeah, okay. Oh God, I'm trying to find what the I'd have to send you the link, I think, really.
Yeah, that's all right. I probably can't use it anyway because I actually do the whole thing through my phone at the minute. Because as you can probably see, I'm sat in the loft away from my computer, so I do the whole thing away from. And in fact, I can't get a Zoom to work on my computer at the minute. The new version of Zoom doesn't want to play ball with something. Something between April when we used it last and now, Zoom's updated and something's become incompatible.
Now you can just update it. You need the Zoom 5.04 instead of 5 point something.
Yeah, but I can't. It won't load up onto my computer.
Oh, sorry. Oh, perhaps it's got Commodore bits in it.
Yeah, it's probably something to do like that. Yeah. Zooms and ZX Spectrums don't mix, I don't think. So yeah.
Well,
Well, I can tell you that my phone won't do any of these fancy things because it's the old Nokia.
Oh, marvellous.
And yes, it does keep its battery for days and days and days. Whereas my wife's modern iPhone thing, we're charging it almost daily.
Yeah. Oh, I have to charge mine multiple times a day now.
Yeah.
But particularly now we've got this coronavirus happening all the time. Stuff. Although that doesn't suck too much energy out of them, I'm quite surprised that doesn't actually suck a massive amount of energy. It maybe uses about 10 or 20% of the battery in a day. So it's not too bad. But yeah, and the phone is getting on a bit now. It's 2 or 3 years old now, this BlackBerry. So the battery is getting ready for a change, I think. Could do with Ollie to change my battery. But I've not seen him for ages. Because it's a sealed phone in theory that you can't change the battery on. But I'm sure you can if you put your mind to it, if you know how.
One of the people who came to the repair cafe while we were still functioning showed us how to unseal. I'm not sure whether it was you. It wasn't Anthony. It wasn't you, I don't think. Somebody anyway showed us that if you squeeze them enough, because they've been sealed with heat or some kind of sealing method, and if you squeeze them, they spring apart, and then you can do it. He was doing it with something else, but it was the same sort of principle. Anyway, that was a previous repair cafe I watched him doing that. Don't know who it was.
Yeah, there's ways of getting into them. You just have to know the way of doing it, and when you know the way of getting in, you can even though the back. But wouldn't it be a lot better if they just put a flap on the back of the phone so you could just take the battery out?
That's what I like about older equipment. You can see screws and things. You've got something to take apart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
None of these plastic clips that sort of spring off and break.
Yeah. Or even worse, glued together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not very good at all, this modern technology, and I don't think it'll catch on, personally.
That's not to say, by the way, that I can always get these things back together again, but, you know.
Yeah.
I can take them apart all right.
Yeah. Talking of modern technology, I can show you when I can find it. Oh no, I can't show you. Oh, no. Oh, maybe I can. This is what I've been putting back together this week when it comes up.
Ah, right.
Oh, sewing machine.
That was absolutely seized solid when it came in. I can't believe how seized that was. In fact, at one stage we had to put one bit of it in a massive vise and twist the whole machine around it to unseize it. Well, it was absolutely seized up solid.
Unfortunately, they don't fetch much money if you try to sell them, do they?
You work in a charity shop, so I'm duty bound to say no. 50 pence. No, they don't fetch as much money as you would think they would fetch. However, that is changing.
Right. Yeah.
Look on eBay. eBay's a really good. A really good sort of.
The base to start
I'm looking for here. Yeah, a really good sort of snapshot of the value of things.
Yeah.
And if you type vintage Singer sewing machine to eBay, you're right. They were 5 or 10 quid a couple of years ago, but now I'm seeing them at around about 50, 60. There's some that are hundreds.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it depends on the exact model of the machine.
Well, they were made at a time when things didn't only function, they were made to look good as well, weren't they? With decoration on and such.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that one's from 1929.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's in a treadle base as well when I put it back together. I've just put it back together today, actually, but I've not took a photo since. So it's in the table that you have to pedal.
Yes. As I understood it, the treadle bases were generally worth more than the machine in recent times.
Yeah, well, some
People used them in pubs and places as tables for sitting, didn't they? They used them in all sorts of places.
They do, yeah. There was some guy. Oh, where was he? I bought one in the tabletop. It hadn't got the legs on. It was just a tabletop with the machine in for a £5.
Wow.
And I bought that off eBay probably about a year ago. And I can't remember where I went to collect it. I think it was somewhere. I think it was somewhere just north of Sheffield, going up into going towards Chapeltown or on the way towards Huddersfield or somewhere like that. And I said to him, how come you've got this? He says, he says, I've used the table legs of a table. He said, I bought it for 40 quid out of an antique shop. I said, you're an idiot. You could have sold it for 150 quid as a sewing machine if you left it all together.
Yeah.
But this is what people do. People turn telephones into lamps.
I've seen them on eBay.
And you want a lamp? Get a lamp. Don't buy a telephone if you want a lamp. You want a lamp? Buy a lamp. You want a telephone? Buy a telephone.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's that stupid woman that comes on the telly on an afternoon that goes around the rubbish dumps. What's her name? Sarah something.
Yeah.
Are you recording all this, Andy?
Sorry?
Are you recording all this?
Yeah. Wow, what were you going to say?
I was just listening to you. I was wondering who else was going to hear it. Yeah. That stupid woman that comes on the telly in an afternoon repurposing things. Well, you don't have to. Somebody somewhere will have to repurpose a lamp into a telephone. So be sure to your telephones, won't they? So if you want a lamp, get a lamp. If you want a telephone, get a telephone. What's the no problem with that? But why do you have to turn something into something else?
When I first started with the charity shops, I started with British Heart Foundation. And what annoyed me even more there was I couldn't pat test there. I could only, as they call it, function test. Plug it in. If it works, great. If it doesn't, or if you see a cracked surface or something, bin. And if it doesn't work, bin. I wanted to take things apart, find out why it didn't. Not allowed. And eventually we broke up. I decided to leave because they had a skip for all this stuff. And the skip was about 4 foot square and it was shoulder high. And every week it was full of electrical goods. And this is all stuff that they couldn't be bothered to look at. If you plugged it in and switched it on and it didn't work, that's it, out. So there were sewing machines and all sorts.
Yeah.
And the way I saw it, as we were saying earlier, it was all money that could come in, but it was going in the skip. Yeah. And as far as I could find out, we were actually paying people to come and take the skip away, which to me is ludicrous.
That sounds about right. It's a very similar thing to what supermarkets do with food, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. So I parted company with British Heart, and went on to Silverado and St. Luke's.
I mean, the other side of that tale, talking about the supermarkets and that, is the brilliant Junk Food Cafe in Sheffield that takes all the stuff from that sort of past its sell-by date in the supermarkets, and you can go to the Junk Food Cafe and get a meal, and you don't have to pay for it. Just give them a donation for the meal and that. I don't know if it's still functioning or not.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
They were going to have to move, I believe, and I don't know what happened. And then all this COVID stuff kicked off, so I don't know what's happened to them. But I've certainly had some good meals at the Junk Food Cafe out of the supermarket bins, and I'm still around to talk about it, so it must be okay.
I don't know, Andy. It could explain quite a lot.
Yeah. So it's that twitch that I've got, But yeah, it's just absolutely bonkers. It is.
There's also wastage.
Yeah.
In so many fields.
Yeah, a heck of a lot. I was driving down the road today. Alan, I don't know if Alan's still on. Are you still on, Alan?
Got his name on there, but not his picture.
Yeah,
he's muted.
Yeah, he's out probably poking his bonfire. But he's been having a new bedroom fitted, and I helped him move some of the units and that around and stuff. And he's been to like B&Q and chose his new bedroom units and that. And some of the doors haven't arrived that he wants, some of the wooden doors that are going on these units. I was driving along today and I saw lent up against somebody's wheelie bin some of these shaker wooden doors, and I thought they look just like the ones that have not arrived. But unfortunately, I couldn't pull up anywhere convenient to go and grab them. But it's amazing the stuff that people chuck out.
I am here.
You are there, are you?
And my video is supposed to be on.
Oh, it is now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is now.
You do feel as though you're looking through a crack in the door.
Maybe it goes to sleep when your phone goes to sleep.
Well, maybe it does, but I was listening to you. Can you see me fire now?
Yeah.
Yes, it's very good, that.
It's a bit toasty warm.
Oh, send a bit of it over here. Put a bit of that in an envelope and send it to me.
And it's not exactly cold outside. Get outside on your phone.
It's blooming cold up here. I can't go outside with my phone. My phone is tethered to the power supply at the minute.
Oh, well, there you go.
But yeah, you nearly got some shaker doors today, Alan.
Oh, fine. Still a bit wrong size, but there you go.
They didn't look the wrong size. They look like them little overhead unity things that you're building.
Oh, right. Okay.
But unfortunately, they're at a house in such a position where I couldn't stop the van to go and grab them. Unfortunately.
Right, I see.
But yeah, that's the wastage story that we've.
She's here. She's here sticking two anything. I don't want stuff out of a skip. I want new.
It wasn't in a skip. It was sat at the side of a skip. They did look as if they were new. Actually, I don't know what the story was behind them. They did actually look like new doors. But like I said, I couldn't get out and investigate.
Oh well, never mind. B&Q might eventually deliver.
Yeah, sometime in the next millennium, I think.
Probably. We might have new wardrobes by the time they deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, might have a new house by the time B&Q deliver. Is anybody else having problems getting deliveries at the minute?
No,
I'm still waiting for a phone that I won on Sunday. It's still not here.
Thursday, isn't it?
And they posted it Monday, so it's now Thursday. It's still not here.
Was this an eBay thing?
eBay, yeah. 706.
Yeah, I've had
one of those loudspeaking ones. It's one of those ones with the loudspeaking handset. Specifically ordered it. With the volume control on it, yeah.
Volume control on it, yeah.
And topaz yellow, I think it is. I think it's yellow. Topaz yellow. It might be faded. It might be a faded ivory one.
I was going to say, I bet it's a faded ivory. I don't think they did those handsets in yellow.
No.
I think they only did them in
ivory and brown, isn't it? And black.
Has anybody mended anything in the last week?
Yes, I mended a sewing machine.
Good. I just thought it'd be quite nice to hear about some repairs.
Yeah. Well, we've done the sewing machine. That was. Did you see the sewing machine, Andrew? Were you not here?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you saw it, did you? Yeah, we've done the sewing machine in the last week. To be honest, I'm running out of things to repair now. This has all been going on for so long that we've done everything.
I repaired a very small old fork today. It had come out of its handle. It was a real bone handle, and it's an old electroplated nickel silver fork thing, and it had a little brass collar. And the question is what to use to glue the thing. It's quite old to use to glue it in again. I used some glue, and I hope it's going to work. But I guess there's some things that do that sort of job better than others. You want something that's pretty hard and it's fairly waterproof too. When it's, in fact, I'll go and find the fork. I'll show it.
Yeah. Go and find it, Andrew. Zoom is doing weird things at the minute. It's not on the camera. It ought to be on.
My latest repair is just to record an iron, a Morphy Richards iron. And they have these lovely fabric cords on these days that get twisted up, and all of a sudden one of the cores splits out from inside. So they've got to be recorded. So that was my thing this afternoon.
Yeah. What have I got? Actually, that phone I've got a line cord on that I picked up earlier.
I don't know whether you can see it. That's what it looks like. Can you see it?
I don't know what. Shout up a bit, Andrew, because it's not switching the camera to you. I don't think you're quite loud enough to trip it.
Trip what?
You have to be quite loud for the camera to switch to you, because it censors the sound.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, that's it. It's tripped it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's moved over to you now.
Well, that's the fork. Can you see it? I don't know.
Yeah, I can actually. Yeah. It looks like what I call a pickled onion fork.
Exactly what it is. Yes, that's right. And this bit was completely loose, and it all came apart. And it's got a rectangular shaft which goes down. Well, you can see on the black line. There's a black line. I don't know where you can see that. There's a black line which roughly the length of itself.
Is it a tang like on a file?
Yes. And actually, I think it's probably set now. Before it wobbles still. I think it's all right. So I just used some kind of wood glue stuff. It looks okay. It does very well for everything else, for wood anyway. So I don't know, but anyway, I'm just chattering because I need to talk about repairs really. So that's the only thing I've done recently.
Yeah, that's quite a good one. I always quite like to hear about ones like that aren't electrical, because we get so many electrical ones. When we get one that's not electrical, it's quite nice. But yeah, I've kind of run out of stuff now. I've got one or two phones in still. I've got this one, which Matt will recognise as a 500 series. Yeah. But it's oddball in that it's not an American one; it's an Irish one. And somebody, see, this is what happens in a charity shop, isn't it? And somebody's cut
the plug off. Yeah.
So I've got to rewire that. I might have a look inside that and see. There's not even a cord on that. Somebody's really sort of gone to town. And
how will you use it when you've repaired it? What does it connect to nowadays? Does it connect to an ordinary phone line?
Plug it in, yeah.
Still works.
Plug it into an ordinary phone socket, yeah.
And it'll dial the right.
Yeah. It'll.
Yeah. That's my youth. Phones from my. Actually, they were older than that, but anyway, there you go. Yes, I remember.
I think that handset must be the new Bluetooth version, isn't it?
That's the
Bluetooth
white one. Yeah, what you want? You'll hate this, Matt. I'm sorry. What you want's a Bakelite one then, Andrew? You remember them like that? Maybe not that colour.
Oh wow!
But do you remember those, Andrew?
Yes. Well, yes, they were black in my day, actually.
Yeah, this one was somebody at some point painted it blue.
Oh.
There were two on eBay, a blue one and a red one. I didn't win the red one, but I won the blue one.
We've got one like that on our whole table. It does work.
I hope it's one of those. Blue.
Not blue, thankfully. It's one of those little drawer in the bottom to give you all the exchanges.
Yeah. you can see there's a blanking plate on that one.
Ah, right, yes,
On the
I can.
there. This one is from India.
Right.
Because when the GPO moved on in their design, they sold all the moulds to India.
Yeah, ITT.
And India carried on making them. And
I think I've mentioned it before, Andy. I've got a pedestal phone from ITT, Indian Telephone Company.
A pedestal.
Candlestick phone.
They make a lot to this day, and they make some really, really good copies, mainly because they're using some of the original molds and things, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an Indian one.
Well, if you get absolutely desperate, you can take this pedestal phone for me and make it work. Have a challenge.
We did one at a repair cafe not long ago. A candlestick.
I think we have spoken about this before, and you mentioned that, but no, I didn't see it.
We did it at one at Healy Farm when we were in the energy centre at Healy Farm, not in the normal room that we're in.
That's before I joined you, I think.
And a chap bought it. It's not mega long ago. If it was before, it was only just before. Right. And he luckily he bought all the bits in that we needed.
Yeah.
Because they have a separate box with the bells in and things.
Right.
They should have a separate bell box.
Well, no, I haven't. No.
Well, it depends how old it is. What you've got.
Yeah.
But this was a genuine old British one that had a separate bell box, and he bought all the bits basically in a carrier bag, and we sat there. It took hours, but we had it going by the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, if you want to provide a service, I'd be willing to pay.
Yeah. No, we can have a look at it for you. Certainly, that.
Oh, that'd be good.
That's no problem. We can
bring it along next week.
I can show it to you now if you want.
Yeah, show it to us. Yeah, and then we'll have some idea what it is.
I'd like to have some idea about real things. Yes.
You might remember, Andy, I showed you a couple of bell boxes a while ago.
Yeah, they were Bakelite ones, weren't they?
Yeah, one of them was, yeah. I'll be back in a second.
The anticipation.
This is one that went on Etsy today. A bit of a faded red one, very patinaed, but
right.
Yeah, it's all right. Is that very clear tone on it, and it's got an electronic microphone, which makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Is that a Mark 1 case in that?
It's a 746 Mark II, I think. It's
a Mark 2 case, yeah.
Yeah. Got the modern handset with the perforated earpiece rather than the single hole. Where it was made.
Yeah.
EET.
What do you do with all these phones?
Beeston, I think. Yeah.
What do you do?
Made at Beeston, went to Cumcarn in 1985 to be an 8746G. I don't know what the G stands. Does anybody know what the G stands for?
No, I don't, off the top of my head.
What do you do with all these phones? I'm not making my mic work. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Andrew, but you're very faint. Matt sells them.
Oh, I see.
I do them up and sell them, yeah.
Yeah.
Find them on...
I used to sell them, but
yeah,
but gave up in the end. It was too much like hard work.
There you go. There's the.
There's your candlestick.
Yeah, the candlestick.
Oh God!
I think you kind of call it a pedestal.
Oh, that's a very new one. That.
Looks like an Indian one.
It is.
Yeah.
It is Indian.
I would say that was made this millennium.
Yes, yeah.
That it's a very. In fact, it might even have been made last week.
I seem to think there's a date on it someplace. I can't remember now.
Yeah, it'll probably not be. It'll probably not be the truth.
Oh, right.
They stick things on them, like they'll like put on it Ministry of Defence 1944 or something like that to make you think it were in Churchill's bunker. But it's just it's just what they do in India, just turning them out.
Yeah, it cost me all of £6, so I don't feel cheated.
No, I don't think you were. If that had been a genuine British one, you'd have paid just for the phone bit. You'd have paid about 80, 90 quid for it.
Yeah.
So you've done all right for £6. I would say that's about what they were. Do you know anything about that, Matt? Because Matt does up some of these modern replica phones and that. Have you seen one like that?
I have seen a candlestick on the market, which was definitely a reproduction, but I've never bought one. Never actually looked inside one. I do believe the Indian ones are they use, as you say, they're using the old molds, aren't they, from 100 series? Is it 100
Some of them
series?
are, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously they're new. I don't know whether it's probably all they've got modern transmitters in rather than the original carbon granule things. So it probably sounds a lot better than the original 100 series.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the bells though. The bells usually in a box, a bit like the 200 series.
The bell should be in a set. On the original phones, the bells are in a separate box.
Yeah.
On the repro ones, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they maybe even do an electronic warble rather than a bell.
Just wouldn't sound right on a candlestick though, would it?
No, but these have turned out tuppence a ton in India, you say, so.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling the bottom off this one. I can't remember what's inside it now. I know it doesn't look modern, but
you say it doesn't work, Ian?
No, it doesn't work.
Has it got a BT lead on it?
I'm sorry, say again, Matt.
Has it got a BT plug lead on it?
Yeah, hang on. Again, just a minute. I've got it between my knees at the moment, taking some screws out.
Right.
When you say it doesn't work, what do you mean it doesn't work?
Well, it's got... Oh, hang on a minute, I've lost you.
We're still here, we can still see you.
Really? That's worrying. Yeah. All I can see is my... Oh, there we go.
I can see you perfectly.
Right. It's got one of those connectors on the end. Where are we?
Up a bit, up a bit.
BT connector. Yeah.
Oh.
Is it always an American one? I can't tell.
No, I can't focus it in a bit.
It's an American one, isn't it?
Is it?
That's an American one, yeah. That's an RJ connector.
I can't remember whether this bottom comes off or not. On the bottom, apart from the 4 screws, there's also a bolt or a nut in the centre.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Nothing with me to get that off.
Just point to the camera a minute, Ian.
What, the base?
Yeah, go back a bit so we in focus. Go back a bit towards you. Yeah, right.
I think that would have been felt on the original ones.
Yeah. You see, if that had been an original candlestick, only has 1 screw in the bottom and it's in the middle.
Well, we've got a bolt in the middle.
So I'm wondering if it's only the middle thing you need to undo to get the base off.
I think the screws were only for the feet.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I was wrong in taking those out.
Yeah.
Bear with me, I'll get something just to undo that bolt.
Okie dokie.
Marvelous, marvelous.
Have you come across any unusual phones recently, Andy?
Not recently. Have I got anything around that's unusual? Got one or two American ones.
Yeah.
That have not come from America, that I've bought here, so I've no idea how they got here. Have they got anything unusual? No, not really. No, I haven't come across any unusual ones, is the short answer.
Right.
So I've just got lots of the standard ones.
One of my phones that I've got on it, see, it's a French phone. S63, I think it's called. And apparently they made the same, they called it the S63 right up until the 80s. It was around about the same time as the 706 and looks quite like a 706, but the French.
Is it two-tone grey or ivory or something? Or?
It looks actually almost like a Concorde blue colour, actually.
Yeah, they did a blue one as well. Dial or push buttons, because it did both.
The dial one, this is, yeah. There is actually one on eBay at the moment with a push button conversion. It's literally, they've got like a circular disc with the rectangular keypad on it.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's not actually how they did it. There's something odd about that, but yeah, I've seen that today. I was looking today and I saw that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have got to watch it. The precursor to those were Bakelite. They had Bakelite ones before them, and the Bakelite ones didn't have a ringer in them. Because I had one
like
come in. An antiques dealer friend of mine said, "I've got this phone. I've bought this phone at an auction. It won't ring. Can you have a look at it for me?" And it just looks like one of our Bakelite phones. And so I brought it home. I took the top off it and thought, well, no wonder it don't ring. There's no ringer in it. I said, I know why it don't ring. It's not a problem. There's no ringer in it. So, but that happens.
Must have been an option.
Yeah, Erica phones often don't have a ringer in them as well. They just built that way. Some have a buzzer in though. I've got some with a buzzer in.
I've sent you the link for the making the phone into a camera, but I think it probably only works for iPhone, so it may not be relevant.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. We'll allow you to make one into a camera. It's just making them into lamps that's not allowed. Yes, Ian?
Oh my, well done.
A little bit of electronic.
Oh, blimey, what's all that in there?
Oh, got real wires.
The board in there.
Is that tiny circuit board all the internal gubbins that's in it?
Just a moment.
It probably is, actually.
Probably so. We've got the dial mechanism, which seems to work properly. And anything else is up the stem, if there is anything else.
There'll not be a lot. There'll be a switch for the switch up. You know, when you hang the handset
hang up,
And there's two terminals for the microphone, I presume.
It looks as though that's a little warbler down the bottom, doesn't it? Hang on. Where are we? There. I guess that's going to be a little warbler of some sort.
It's looking like that to me. Yeah, some sort of buzzer, that I would say.
Yeah. So it looks as though it has been made to work at some time.
I think that's probably how they are. I think that's probably as it came out of the factory.
Which bit doesn't work? The speaking or the hearing or the noise, or you don't know?
Nothing seems to work. I was saying, Andrew, it only cost me £6, so I wasn't feeling cheated. But if there was any chance of... Go on.
How do you know it doesn't work? Because you've obviously not been able to plug that in.
That's very true. I seem to think somewhere there was a loose wire. When I tried to take the stem apart, there was a loose wire, and I didn't know where it should be connected.
Does the colour help?
Again, with these wires, oh, hang on, there's a couple of tape jointed connections, and that is a bare wire connection being soldered. Oh, hang on. There, it's been soldered together, but there's no tape on it. But again, it looks like a sort of home job.
Yeah, I bet it's not. I bet that's just how they make them in India.
First thing is to find a plug that works, I guess.
Yeah, you can get Ian. Let me go and just have a rummage. I'm going to disappear for a second and have a rummage. See if I can find one of these bits. Just a sec.
The problem is to know how to wire them up.
Well, you think this is an American plug on it? I can easily supply an English one and see if I can wire that in and let you know next week.
That would be nice. How will you know how to wire it?
Good question.
Right. Okie dokie. Right. You can buy things like that, Ian.
Yes, yes.
Now, this is opposite way round to what you want. This is a British socket to an American plug. So this would make a British one work in America. And these boxes that I was talking about earlier, this is what you have to plug a British phone into one of these boxes.
Yeah.
But you can get that the other way around.
Right.
Because this is a bit complicated to explain, but America works on a two-wire system, and we now, since we've had the sockets in the wall, work on a three-wire system.
Right.
Although there's actually only two wires that come into your house.
Yes. Yeah.
Because some of the gubbins that's in a phone in America are now in your wall socket, in your master socket.
Right. Yeah.
There's a capacitor basically that used to be in the phone is now in the master socket in your house.
Right.
And that's why you can only plug 4 phones in at once.
Notably, the wire going to the plug is just a 2-core.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can see in that one. You probably can't see, but where the hell's the camera there? You probably can't. I don't think you can see, but
a green and a red.
The green and a red, or green and orange, perhaps in that. And they go to the middle two in.
Right. That's what I meant when I asked you about how to wire it. It's about where to put them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the UK one, if you look at a UK one of those.
Yes.
That one, if you look really closely at it, has only got 4 terminals. But if you look, it's got space to have 6. It could have 2 more, one at either side.
Yes. Yeah.
That aren't there. It's just because they make a cheap version, they save a little tiny bit of brass by not putting the 2 connectors on the end. But the 2 that you need to worry about are the outer 2 that are connected.
Right.
So 2 and 5 out of that 6. And they're the ones that you need to shove those 2 wires in your phone into.
Right.
And if you do that, it will probably work.
Right.
What Now it's only on 2 wires. It's not on the 3-wire system. So what it might do, it might make other phones around your house. If you've got any other phones plugged into any other sockets, it might make them tinkle.
Is that problem sorted by adding one of the little boxes that looks very much like that in your hand? One of those filters?
No.
That's the broadband.
The filter is what they call an ADSL filter,
Right.
and that's as somebody just said, that's just to filter the signal for your broadband.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
And that they're a bit bigger than that, the ADSL filters generally. But that is just an English socket, and I believe that's also a master socket.
Mm-hmm.
You can get these with or without the capacitor in.
Yes, yeah.
To drive the English system.
Yeah.
So loads of old telephone plugs. I could have a look. I've surely got one of those that would.
Well, they're no good, the old ones, Andrew, because they crimp down. And once they've been crimped,
I see.
Can't use them again. You have to have a special tool.
Yeah.
You have to have one of these. This has not even been out the socket, out the packet.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, it's in a Chinese packet. What are they doing? Making things that only work in Britain.
It's time all that sort of thing was stopped. We ought to be buying British.
I don't think anybody in Britain will be able to make one of these days, to be honest with you.
Well,
you see what happens is when you get one of these,
mm-hmm.
those brass terminals are raised a bit on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's also a little plastic crimp in here.
Not that end I'm talking. I haven't got one of those. I've got the other end. I've got the plug. I'm sorry, it's not going to be pointing at it. I've got the plug end, but not the socket end, because I've got lots of plugs like that on cables. So you could just have one and rewire use the cable to wire onto yours. And try it out.
That's a good point. Where do the wires go? To the end.
Oh, I used to use them in the house because I made extension cables and all sorts. So I've just got loads of telephone cables which I don't use anymore.
Good point, Ian.
Yeah, well,
you're most welcome. We don't live very far apart.
I may have got. Hang on a minute. What have we got? No. We've just been having a problem with my mother-in-law's telephone. Oh, taking them out of the garage. So I've got various telephones with various leads on, all of which was no good to her because she's a dementia sufferer and she needed exactly what she'd had before and couldn't get on with anything else. So I've got some modern phones, the cordless type of phones, with obviously the plug on the main unit. So whether that's what we need, I'm not sure.
Well, it sounds like the first thing to do is to replace your American plug with an English one.
Yes.
And the only question is where to put the wires from the American plug into your English plug. But I think Andy's probably told you that now.
That's right. The outer two.
Yeah, 2 and 5. So that would be the start, wouldn't it?
Well, and the easy way to do it isn't to re-terminate the plug. It's to go inside the phone because the wires, as I say, are just tape jointed and soldered.
Okay, well, there you are.
Yeah, right. So that could be. So, yeah, I'll get back to you.
So you've got a green and a red one going into that phone, haven't you?
A green and a red, yes.
Yeah. When you put a new cable on,
mm-hmm.
you can go and get any phone extension cable out of Wilco's or whatever.
Yep.
Cut the socket end off.
Mm-hmm.
So you've only got the plug end. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You'll find 4 wires inside it.
Mm-hmm.
Blue, orange, white, and something else. Green, I think.
In blue, you'll find either blue, orange, white, and green. or you'll find black, yellow. Is it green and red?
Green, yeah.
Matt, what is it? Black, yellow.
Black, yellow, green, and red, I think.
Black, yellow, green, and red. If you've got black, yellow, green, and red, basically, if you've got black and yellow wires in there,
yes,
the black and yellow ones are the ones that you need. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the American.
Yeah.
That's the American
color coding.
What you call it? Extension.
Right.
Color coding. So if you've got a black and a yellow wire in there, they're the two that you need.
Right. Okay.
If you've got a cable that's got white, red, green, and blue, i.e. it's got no black and no yellow, then the ones that you need are the red and the white.
Right.
Write that down because that's it's very crucial.
I'm doing exactly
what you'll find in the phone, isn't it? In a 746 when you rewire it with a new cable.
Yeah, exactly. I did a YouTube video about this, and I got myself right tied in knots. I found an interesting thing out about this Chinese thing as well. It don't work. When you look at this, Matt, you put your thing in here to crimp your thing down. Look, you put it in. It doesn't go in far enough to hit the little crimpy thing there. That thing coming down doesn't hit it. And that doesn't go far enough through to.
Oh yeah.
Send it back.
Well,
so
I did do a bit of messing about with telephones some long while ago, and what I had was a little metal, almost like punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do them that way. Yeah. On die block. Yeah.
And you just punch it with your pliers. I bought one of them off eBay about 3 weeks ago. I've still not managed to wire a plug up with it.
Yeah, they're rubbish.
Yeah. I think you can get. I don't know whether you can get
the best one you can get. There is something similar to this, but you can buy it out of B&Q. It's about 10 or 15 quid out of B&Q, and it's grey plastic.
Right.
It looks a bit like this, but it's grey plastic, and that's the one that I use. That's in my toolbox downstairs, and the grey plastic one's the one that I use. I can't remember why I bought this. I just saw it and thought it was a metal one. It's better, but it don't fit. But the grey plastic ones do work that you can get out of B&Q. They're about 10 or 15 quid, depending on B&Q's mood at the time. And you can also buy these.
Yeah, they're about 16p each from Britphone. Not expensive.
Don't buy any of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
But like Andrew said, it's easier to do it by using the other end of the wire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But the interesting stuff about these phone wires is when you come to strip them, I think they call them a tinsel cable.
Right.
And very often, not always, but very often, there's not really a metal core to them. There's like a very, very fine metal, like one thread of metal wrapped up in like cotton.
Yes, I think I've seen these. Yeah.
So they're unbelievably difficult to solder because there's hardly any metal there to solder to. But you can do it, but it's hard work. But you might get lucky, or one of his wires might have got a proper core in it, but 9 times out of 10 they've not.
Right. I'll see what I can do this week, and I'll report back next week, all being well.
Yeah.
Or if I make a total muck up, I'll just sort of try and forget about it.
Yeah, that's your hope we'll not let you. We'll say, how did you do with that phone here?
You can find my email address on the email from Andy, because it's got everybody's email address on it, as far as I know. So if you want something, just send me an email.
Thank you.
Yeah. you probably got some in your charity shop work. You must have got like an old phone or something that's coming that's got a cable on. You can chop the cable off.
I keep all sorts of stuff down there. At the moment, as I say, I can't go in there because of the shielding business with daughter and granddaughter. But I've always kept cables and things, so I've got a big box of stuff. There's got to be something there somewhere when I can get to it.
Yeah. Got to be, yeah. Yeah.
That's the joy of keeping things. I keep everything.
And Andrew's got some, and I've got some. So between us, we'll find you a cable.
That's
somewhere.
Very kind. Very kind of you both.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how I go
on. How are we doing for time, folks?
Oh, it's fed up with us now, fellas.
8:52, I think.
Crikey.
8:52.
Crikey. Perhaps it's time we thought about wrapping it up for
we can
one day.
We'll meet again. I've sent you the link, and you can, if you can do it, you can fiddle with it. Because my problem is how to use the. I can use my camera and I can show it up on the screen, but then I lose the zoom thing because the zoom needs the camera input rather than the me input. So I lose myself out of it. So I haven't quite sorted out how to manage that yet. Anyway.
Yeah, it sounds tricky. That is the camera that we're looking at you through now then your phone?
No, that's my iPad.
Oh right, I see.
No, sorry, it's not my iPad. It's a what's it called? A laptop.
Yeah. But you can use your phone as a separate camera sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you can
and it'll
point
come up
it.
on the laptop, but I have to use the laptop. I have to change the laptop so it recognizes the phone as the source of camera rather than its own camera. It doesn't do
I see. You can only have one camera source at once.
That's right.
I see.
I lose the image of me, but you have the image of whatever I'm showing you instead.
Yeah.
It's slightly bulky. Anyway, I'll think about it, see if I can work it out how to do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out one way or another. It's a brilliant camera, that one you've got there, Andrew. It's really good. That is, you're the clearest of anybody.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that. You're pretty clear too.
You must have got good internet where you are.
It's all right, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Who's your internet service provider? Do you know?
Oh, God. I don't even know what that means.
Who do you get your broadband from?
I think it's probably EE. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, so the router is EE. Yeah.
It looks like EE is quite good. I'm going to say I'm fairly sure it's not TalkTalk with the picture quality that Matt's laughing. He must be on TalkTalk.
No, I used to have my email through Tiscali until they started charging me for it.
Yeah.
So with Direct Safe Telecom, and they've been very good actually. I've been with them about 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's only because of where we are on a remote farm that we've had the problems at the beginning of the COVID, but it's a lot better now.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with the service, and we've been able to Zoom with our friends at church as well. So been on Zoom quite a bit recently.
Yeah, well, it's pretty good. It's Zoom in general has improved since April when we last did these in April.
Oh, a heck of a lot. Yeah.
Everybody was pixelated and everything. I was amazed when I came back to it the other day because I've not used it over the summer. I was amazed.
Much better than Google Meet.
Yeah, I've never tried that one.
Don't bother. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Is that all right? Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah.
That's all right. Thanks very much, Andrew. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been good meeting you guys.
Hopefully I'll see you next week.
Good luck with everything, Ian. I look forward to hearing. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I think we probably ought to wrap it up for one day.
Yeah.
I'll go and sit in front of the wood burner, I think. So we solved your problem, didn't we, Matt? Right at the very beginning.
Yeah, you've solved the problem now. I'm just going to probably take the plastic bits out with either a little screwdriver or a small knife or something, And,
yeah, so something with a sharp point on it that you can sort of pierce it with. You need to pierce it and flick it out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What I did want to ask you, you said this phone had been sort of thrown about and damaged by the delivery people.
Yeah.
What's the actual fault with it?
The fault?
Yeah.
Well, I fixed it all up, obviously, and then it was sent. Yeah, it was perfect when it went from me to the lady. The lady received it, and then the fault was basically that.
Yeah, we know the case is broke, but there's something internally.
And then internally, I'll see if I can show you. I've got the phone in bits at the moment on me. The bell mechanism is, where you can see it, it's moving up and down. Let's see if we can get a shot with. You see the coils going up and down.
Oh yeah.
Show you the clapper. Yeah. And I think what's happened is whatever's happened. Obviously, it's been shaken. Obviously, the clapper going up and down. So when it rings intermittently. So I thought I'll put it all back together, test it on my line, and it went ring sort of thing, rather than ring, like, it was intermittent. I thought, calibrate the bell. Using the feeler gauge method on the British Telephone's website, which is, have you ever seen that? They've got all sorts of procedures on there on how to fix your phone. And bell calibration is one of them. You can stick I think it's a 25 feeler gauge in there or something, and push the other side of the bell against the other face. You undo those two screws on the top of the bell neck.
I normally just turn the actual bell gongs round. Until I just do it by hand.
I mean, the whole thing's moving, so that's why I want to tighten the screws up.
What I think I know what this is. I don't think it's the screws. Let me find one that's not got one on. Just a sec.
Oh, Matt, I think I will say good night to you, gentlemen.
Okay.
I'll go and have a look at my candlestick phone and see if I can move on with that.
Yeah.
So I will see you both hopefully next week.
Brilliant job. Night,
okay.
Ian.
Same time, same
night,
place.
Ian.
All the best. Cheers now.
Yeah.
I've not got one handy that I can get at to show you, Matt. But there's a weird sort of hook arrangement thing.
Yeah.
That those bells have to sort of slot into.
Yeah.
And it's got like a low side and a high side. And then you have to jiggle the thing into it. I wonder if half of that's broke off. Because
makes you wonder, yeah.
From what I can see of it, it looks tight at the end where the screws are, and loose at the end where this hook thing should
at the
hold
back.
Yeah.
So it might be there's something broken.
It might be.
Best thing to do first, I suppose, is remove the bell set.
I'm just looking for. I haven't got one in a blooming plastic base. Let me just see if I can take this bell off this one.
Right.
Because I've got one here, but mine's on a metal base.
That's a Mark II base, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the theory is similar.
Yeah.
when you get into it, I think.
Yeah, I've done the 746. Changed the bell meching of 746 a couple of times. In fact, I actually changed the coil. One of the coils was open circuit on one of them that I did. So I've got another bell mech that was sort of like mechanically faulty, and I just changed one of the coils in it. And that went in easy because the screws obviously.
Yeah, the coils very rarely go. You've been very unlucky to get one with a.
Yeah, the one with the coil fault. Yeah,
the coil
very
fault.
Unusual, but it went to a satisfied customer anyway. You're probably right. Although there is quite a lot of movement, and yeah. Once I've got in there with a sharp implement.
God, how tight. You can tell when it's not going to play. You know, on the Sunday night live stream, you can tell when it's not going right because I put it on my knee where nobody can see it.
Yeah.
If I break that out. There, like that.
Well, you got the bell mech out.
Right. Yeah. So now I've got the whole circuit board out.
Oh, you've taken the board out on that one, yeah.
Yeah, because the bell screws are on the bottom of the board. There's no hole in the base on the metal line. Yeah. So they're there on the bottom of the board, you see. So these are what you've got. These two screws I'm now taking out to what you've got
into the plastic.
Into the plastic, yeah.
Then they call it an unmounted bell or something.
Something like that, yeah. I'm hoping it's the same as the other one. I am considering having some of these circuit boards made, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something nobody's doing. Right, I've got to put it on my knee again. So.
I seem to remember I had to take the regulator out of the one that I replaced the bells in.
Oh, come off. Too tight to get it off without a real fight. Jesus. Don't put that on there.
Yeah.
I've not got a big screwdriver up here to get into it, but can I
really
see
tight.
it even? Can I see it even?
There's obviously something at the back end of the bell then that's
there is. That's what I'm trying to get at to show you.
Yeah. I probably need to take the bell mech out.
Have another rummage, see if I can find another one.
Another phone.
Yeah, now this is a 746 base.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming the bell is held in the same way because they're the same bell coils, aren't they?
They are, yeah. Is it a 59A or something like that?
Yeah.
This has got a little bit rusty, actually. I think this is a 59A.
Right, that's gone there. That's gone there. There'll be another one of those somewhere. Right. Right. So there's your bell coil. That's the exactly the same as what you've got, isn't it?
I've got there. Yeah.
All right. And between it and the base on this, I've got some little plastic inserts like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they're on all of them. Right. Now, what we're looking at is this thing here. Hang on, let me turn my camera around so I can see what I'm pointing at. That thing there.
Oh, like the hook thing. Yeah.
Because this has to sort of go in there and hook down onto that.
Yeah.
So it can't lift up at the back now, you see.
Right.
It can't go down, it can't lift up.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what.
So if yours is lifting up and down at the back.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's that's damaged.
Yeah. Now on a Mark 1 base, is that moulded into the base normally?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like I say, this one is a 746, and you can see on the base of this, it's got all rivets on the base, all little rivets.
Yeah.
There's the two that hold that down.
Yeah.
But different manufacturers tended to do it a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
I'm just looking on the bottom, see if I can see any rivets. There isn't any rivets there.
See, on that, they are just rounded head rivets on this side, and then the pop rivets on the inside by the looks of it. I don't know if you can see that in there.
Yeah. There's nothing actually rattling around here. I thought, I might find something rattling around, but there wasn't anything rattling around.
Yeah, it's how you hold the back of that bell set down. That's the question. How do you hold the back end?
How do you stop it from going up and down like? Yeah.
Because that generally goes in. Even I can't do it now. Can't get it in the right bloody
So you can actually get the bell set out with them, get access to them screws.
Aren't I? I'm doing it totally the wrong way around.
Yeah.
So that goes in there like that, and then it sits fairly level, you see, and you can't push the back end of that down at all.
Yeah. No.
And equally, if the front is held in, you can't lift it up because one of those tabs kind of goes over that tab there.
Yeah.
How it's bent round. It's bent round because it goes over the top of the metal chassis, the metal base.
Yeah.
So that bit of the bell set.
Yeah.
So I think you've got a problem with that. I assume there's one of those in the 706. It was in the 746. There must be, otherwise how do they hold it in?
Yeah. There's only two bell. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll take these screws out once I've gained access to them. Take the bell neck out and see what's underneath. Probably the thing to do.
Yeah, it should be something like that. Anyway, it's somewhere in that ballpark. But the way you were pressing on it at the back suddenly made me think, well, hang on, it doesn't look like the screws. It looks like whatever holds the back end up.
Yeah.
So that's what got me about it.
Yeah, because you can see the back end moves, and of course, if the screws are a little loose.
I wonder what they did, because it must have took so much force to do that. I mean, you get them You get unbroken.
To break the case as well. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it was yeah, you can see it just literally cracked all the way up here. It's like either it's been thrown that way up, upside down, or it's been thrown into the back of a lorry with lots of heavy parcels on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And normally when they have fragile labels on them, they normally, post office normally put them the shelves in the lorry, and they put the lightweight stuff on the shelves and the heavy stuff in the bottom of the lorry. So what looks like it's happened here, it's been lobbed in the lorry and something heavy put on it.
I find that the postal service are very like couriers, are very variable depending on the individual human being that you've got delivering in your area. Some of them are brilliant, some of them are terrible.
Yeah.
You just cannot.
Might have been somebody having a very bad day or something, you know, and
or maybe it fell off the shelf in the lorry, or but it must have something must have hit it at some force.
Yeah. To have done that damage, because it was a perfect phone when it went out.
Yeah, I get unbroken, but the brakes aren't normally that bad. It's normally the front corner that's off, or or something like here. The chunk out normally, or something like that. But but it's almost broke it in half, hasn't it? That it's right. See there, it's really bad.
Right along the back there, look. Sort of thing. Yeah. And it took a chip out of the risers there as well.
Yeah, that's a classic 706 thing. Did it have did it have the little metal plates, or did it have a handle across?
It's got a handle. Yeah, I mean that's what the new one. That's the old handle on the new case.
Yeah, because it's
I think
they often did have handles on.
And a proper metal handle as well, which I like, because the plastic handles break.
Yeah,
apparently, on a regular basis.
The metal handles are an Ericsson thing. They were never fitted to a GPO phone. GPO ones were always the plastic ones. Yeah. Which is strange, because you'd think that GPO ones are the higher spec normally.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you?
But not in the case of them handles. Because people fit them all the time when they were storing phones, and 99% of the time it's not right. But in your case, it is right.
Yeah.
They're quite
I think
rare
originally, wasn't it the case you weren't supposed to pick the phone up when you were using it or something? And the GPO had a rule that you're not supposed to pick the phone up or something. And then in 1965 or something, they decided that as a temporary measure, they put these handles on. And then obviously when the 746 came out, got a handle anyway.
Yeah. I don't quite know. The handles came out with the refurbished ones, didn't they? In the sort of mid-60s. The refurbished ones had the handles on. I don't know if it was because the 746 was on its way and they were doing it to make them more like the 746, because they took the dial bezels off, the lettered dial bezels and that at the same time, didn't they?
Yeah, went to blank ones. Yeah.
But interestingly, the early 746s had unlettered.
I've seen a couple on eBay with lettered dials. I thought, is that right?
Well, you have to be a bit careful, because our friends at Britphone make them. But what they do, they take a 746 bezel and print on the top of it the letters and numbers. Now, the original ones are like the original ones on the 706, and it's a clear piece of plastic. printed backwards on the back.
Yeah, that's what these are, I think.
Oh, it's there. That's a proper one.
Yeah.
On a 746.
Yeah.
And you see, it's an early 746 as well.
With a Mark 1 case. Yeah.
With the Mark 1 case. Only on the very, very early ones. And I don't know if you can tell on this rubbish camera, but that is clear, and
clear with the letters
you can
on
like
the
see a
bottom.
depth to it in person because the writing's on the back. You know, it's like looking down into the thing rather than it being printed on the surface.
Yeah,
that's.
I think these Ericsson ones are the same. I know that the more modern dial surrounds as well haven't got this metal bezel, have they?
No. Well, that's what came in. The ones without the metal bezel, where it's just like got a plastic bit that goes through and then locks in. That came in with the 746 basically.
Yeah.
Because the early refurbs of the 706s had these with the metal on the back.
Yeah.
But they were blank.
Yeah.
So you got these blank for a very short period of time before they realised, oh, we can just make this out of plastic now, it's blank. But for a very short period of time, you did get these painted ones that were just painted blank. But a lot of people say 746s shouldn't have these on.
Yeah.
But the very, very early ones did. And there is a bit of film from one of these archive GPO films that they used to make for training purposes of one of their engineers taking their new coloured telephone out to a farm, and when it shows you a shot of the engineer walking across the farmyard, there's a quick cutaway shot to this in his hand, and it is one exactly like this.
Yeah, with the letters on.
That's got them on. So then I realised, well, it's obviously true. This did happen.
Yeah.
And then a bit later, I found one, and luckily I found a red one as well.
Yeah.
I've got a black one as well somewhere.
I think I have seen. I saw one. Well, I actually tried to bid on one earlier on this week. There was actually a 746 with a lettered dial on it.
90% of the ones that you'll see, in fact more, 99% of the ones you'll see have got these repro bezels that are not correct because it's just printed on the top of the plastic of a blank one.
Yeah.
And the thing is, over years, it rubs off.
It rubs off, yeah.
You know, they're not as high a specification.
No.
Because it's just Britphone basically making a different version of their parts. This is what I object to with them when they say they're making reproduction parts, but the bits that are wrong, the bits that shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
If they were to make the correct part, if they were to make the bloody thing clear plastic, so that I could paint the letters and numbers on the back, that would be far better.
Yeah.
But no, I just want the flat plastic one. If somebody make the flat plastic ones, the flat clear plastic ones, then I'd buy some of them because they'd be the correct part, sort of thing.
Yeah. Because it's matching up the colours then.
Then. I'm sure we could do something. I'm sure with computer printers and that these days, and be able to transfer paper and that, I'm sure we could do something.
Yeah. Brown, sort of like brown's quite hard to be produced, I presume. But yeah. And so this actually, the one that's on here does actually match the handset quite nicely. But it was, I mean, it was to say it was in very good condition when it left me, and then this happens to it, like with the crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, that is. It's really had a wallop, that.
Yeah.
Really had a big knock, that has.
And the customer was very, very, she's extremely conciliatory. Yeah, she really says, "Oh, it's not your fault. It's London Post Office."
You know,
yeah, probably was that they were using a private contractor somewhere. Now it's all been privatised. Might have used a private contractor because of, we've not got enough postal workers to drive the post office lorries, or we'll get some other company to be the middleman or something. You don't know, do you?
No.
But it's not bad. Generally, it's 35 phones I've sold, and various other bits and pieces, and I've not had any trouble yet. So it's just the
How
first time.
How long have you been doing it then?
It's just over a year. May 2019 started. Huh?
You've done quite well to sell 35 in a year.
Yeah.
From a standing start.
Yeah.
Is that all Etsy then? And Etsy
most of it's been Etsy. Yeah, I mean, I've sold quite a few to friends. My mum and dad have bought one. They got rather sick and tired of their DECT phone dying halfway through a conversation, and said, "Oh, I'll buy one of your classic phones." And they like the ring that can actually hear it.
Yeah.
A lot of these modern phones with the bleepers, they're sort of like you can't. A lot of old people can't hear the bleepers.
No. All the phones are just generally quiet as well. The person on the other end.
I've noticed that with a lot of modern phones. Yeah, I mean, the repro ones. You just thought, oh, it should have an amplifier in there somewhere, but they are quiet. And the DECT ones, I can't hear them at all. And that's because if they were to up the volume, your battery runs out in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
They do a speakerphone on them, and they're like 10 minutes at the most, and the battery's flat. And you've got to charge it up for 3 hours before you can use it again. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are buying me classic phones, because they just plug into the wall, you dial out with them, they ring in and whatever.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of people selling them now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of 5 or 6 people making a living out of it without even trying.
Yeah.
And it's a bit worrying because they're going to run out eventually.
They will eventually, yeah. But there were quite a few million of these things made, so there's a lot to go out there somewhere. I mean, I don't know how many BT scrapped over the years, but
I've certainly spoke to people who've taken them away by skipfolds.
Yeah,
I've certainly spoken to people who said, there's 2 or 3 occasions people have come up to me and gone, "Oh, when I worked for Telecom, we used to chuck all these in a skip round the back of the building, and the skip used to get cleared out about once a week." Skip full.
Phones,
every week.
I think when Cumcarn closed, I bet there were probably thousands of phones there, that have been what they call wipe up,
Yeah. There'd have been a hell of a lot. Yeah. But they are notably getting scarcer now, because 4 or 5 years ago, you could buy them on eBay. You could buy a box of maybe 10 or 20 706s stroke 746s for well under 100 quid.
Yeah.
And now you can't.
Yeah.
You don't see that happen now.
Bought a suitcase, I think it was about 40, 50 quid. I think it was a suitcase with about 6 phones in it.
Yeah.
They've all gone now. They've all been sold. All done and sold. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's the reason why the repros are out there, is because they're very popular. It's a shame that no one can actually reproduce these solid metal bases, but they would cost probably about 500 quid or something.
Yeah.
To reproduce them as was.
It'd be an interesting project to make a new one.
Yeah.
Using the old technology. I reckon with 3D printers and that now, and the fact you can like go to people like PCBWay and get circuit boards made, and stuff. I reckon it'd be possible as a sort of project to make one, or make something similar that worked in the same way.
I suppose that's what the Indians are doing, aren't they, at this time?
Price where people would buy it, though.
Yeah.
Where you'd come unstuck will be with the little switches and that on the inside, you know, to make dials and stuff like that. That's where you'd come unstuck. If you're going to come unstuck anywhere. But we've got a few bits to go at the minute and that. So I buy mainly parts now and build them up out of parts because the phones now are getting so expensive. So I buy something like that off eBay, you see.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally you'll see a box of things like that. So
yeah. I've seen quite a few people are now selling big boxes full of random phone spares. So like dials, bits of wire, PCBs, and screws, or just randomly, you know, like 15 quid or 20 quid for a huge. But it costs a fortune to get them posted. That's the problem.
Yeah, you also have to be a bit careful what's in that random selection as well. Because you always find key things that aren't in it. You know, they like to put old line cords and stuff in that, of course, they've took off anyway because they've got the wrong socket on the end. So they like to fill it up with things like that. But
I did find, by the way, you know, I was having a problem trying to find dial, you know, the dial faceplate strings, you know, the ohm.
That little funny shape semicircular spring thing.
Yeah, there's a guy who runs a company called The Old Telephone Company.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, and he got some. So I bought four or five off him, and managed to sort of like complete 5 phones that all they were missing with that, and now on Etsy. So or been sold.
I'm not convinced they all had them in.
Huh?
I've had a lot of N1900s, and the only things that I've had consistently that haven't had them.
That haven't had them.
That haven't had them. So I wonder if it's a cost-cutting thing. Ericsson didn't put them in.
I'm wondering whether Kumkan sometimes, so a lot of them with the Kumkan FWR sticker on have come in without them on. Because the dial will hold it down or something like that, or just put a little bit of glue around the outside of the dial faceplate or something just to hold it down.
Yeah, I've never seen glue involved.
No.
Never seen one glued on, but I've certainly seen them coming without them. And, but I've always correlated it to being non-GPO ones.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just a cost cut because you get them without induction coils in as well.
Yeah.
And they will work.
Yeah.
Without an induction coil, but jury's out over a long period of time. It can fry the handsets. Because you're passing such a high voltage through them. But it's over 10 or 20 or 30 years. It's not over 2 or 3 months. So we thought, as a cost-saving thing, we'll not put that coil in because coils are quite expensive to make and all that.
So it burns out the transmitters and things.
Because you think it's cheaper to put a new transmitter in every 10 or 20 years if necessary, rather than fit the induction coil in the first place. Because this is what you get with people. This is what you get with people with candlesticks. They say, the phone works on its own, and that. Well, it will for now, but it won't when your grandkids inherit it. You know, because it'll have burnt out because it's not got the induction coil that would have been in the bell box.
Yeah.
So you have to be a bit careful with things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't go wrong with these 706s, 746s, and that. They're like bomb-proof technology, aren't they? So.
Yeah. Very reliable, generally. Yeah. You know, not had any customers come back and say, "Oh, my phone don't work," or anything like that.
No, they're pretty good. I never had any problems with them. I think I had one come back out of the antique centre.
Yeah.
With a sticky dial. And I think what had happened, while it had been sat in the antique centre, you know, I think there'd been a kid around playing on it, wiping the dial around and that. And, and they just somehow managed to jam it up and that. And I took dial apart, put back together, and it was fine after that.
Yeah.
That's the price you pay of having them in an antique centre where the public can get hold of them, sort of thing.
Yeah. I always find as well phones that haven't been used for a long time, like when found in a loft, not been used since 1984. And you try and dial it, and it goes really slowly goes back, you know.
Yeah. You have to.
Quite a simple thing, you know. The brick phone dial is really good stuff for getting rid of squeaks and things like that. And generally,
Wilko's equivalent, remember 3-in-1 oil?
Yeah.
Good old 3-in-1 oil. Wilko's selling equivalent. And the only difference is 3-in-1 oil is about £3 a bottle. Wilko's is 99p for the same size bottle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the stuff to use.
Yeah. You only need one drop.
It's just a good quality light oil. That's all it is. The key thing is don't leave the WD-40 on.
No.
Because the
WD-40 is terrible.
It tracks all the dust and crap and then dries up. But so spraying with WD-40 to get them going, maybe.
Yeah.
But then try and get it all off again and put proper oil on.
Yeah.
And then
I've never had one that's totally seized up, but I've had them where they're really, really slow.
Yeah, the dials don't tend to totally. What does seize up is that little clutch thing, that little inside the dial.
Yeah,
that seizes up.
Yeah, and it's the governor goes the wrong way round when you dial
so when you're dialing, the governor is turning when it shouldn't be. It should be slipping that clutch, but it doesn't, and it makes it just that little bit harder to turn.
To dial. Yeah. I think I had a phone like that. 706.
Yeah, so sometimes you can free them up with a bit of oil and get them a couple of pairs of pliers and work them a bit. But sometimes you do have to throw them away then because they just won't.
New dial.
They just won't. I've got no idea how they work on the inside because they're such a small component. I've got no idea what the internals is of that. So
yeah. Well, the British Telephone's website's very good for things like that. And they give you exploded diagrams of dials and bits of the phone. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah, it's the Grey website. What's its site, isn't it? Oh, come on, what's his name?
What's his name?
Yeah.
There's British Telephone.co.uk, and you can literally find information on all the phones, right from the old wooden thing.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Huh?
It's basically a Grey web page, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
it's
the
just
one
full of lots of information.
Yeah. What you do have to be careful with, though, some of it is wrong on there.
Yeah.
There's certain. I just can't think of an example off the top of my head, but there are just certain things that are just wrong. Because I think he's collated all the information from people over the years, from ex-engineers and that.
Yeah.
And through no fault of his and through no fault of the people that have told him the information, they just remembered it a bit wrong, and then he's put it on there. And some of it's not quite right. Like I think somewhere on there it says 746 has never had a lettered bezel on them.
Yeah.
I think it says somewhere on that site.
Yeah.
Well, I may tell you they did. There's evidence on film from 1971 that they did, and I've got one. But on that website it says they didn't. So you do have to be a little bit careful with it. Because sometimes it is, and I think there's something in one of his conversions of an American phone to make it work on the British system. I think I followed it and it didn't work, or it didn't work right. I think he said put a resistor in. You know, put one of these 3.3K resistors in. And the American 500 series and the derivatives of are 1 Ren anyway, so you don't need the resistor.
4,000 ohm bells.
But he said put the resistor in. When you put the resistor in, the bell hardly rings. It's a very weak tinkle, tinkle, tinkle sort of thing. So not got enough power to
amps to go through it.
So you just have to watch some of the little details on it. But generally, like I say, it is a good repository of information. So
it's useful. It's helped me out a bit, you know, how to take something to bits. That's how I learned a lot of how to take the phones to bits and how to rewire 746s and 706s and learning all the different marks and that, you know, obviously the Ericsson ones being slightly different. Have you ever come across the Pi ones? They're really unusual. There's a 706 clone that Pi did, where they used a lot of the sort of like the gravity switch mechanism looked more like a 300 series, rather than the 706 700 series. Got metal plungers.
There are some oddball ones. I don't think it's just Pi. So some of the Ericsson ones, you'll see some of the Ericsson, what I call the 706 clones. When you take the top off, some of them that have not been converted to modern standards. Some of them are just like 706s were originally wired. Exactly the same, basically. Some of them you take the top off, they're completely different. The wiring is completely different in the back. Same phone, all same components, just the wiring goes to different terminals and things in the back. So every now and again you get one of these N1900 something, something, something. You take the top off, you think, that doesn't look right. But you just every now and again get a really oddball one where it all goes to different places. Then you have to sit and think about what it actually is going where and try and trace it back. And it's a nightmare then.
Usually, it's quite useful to have a little diagram in them, isn't it? Then? Where they have them inside the case.
Well, they often don't have a diagram inside the case.
No.
Again, I think it's cost cutting.
But
they also are devils for making them out of bits. I've had them with, let's say, 706 underneath them, and then they've got that just numeric bezel on them. And you think, well, hang on, GPO didn't do that. And what it is, Ericsson's have had an order for 100 of their N1900s to go in a factory somewhere. And their engineers come along and he's found it in the stores. They've only got 90. So he's been down to the factory floor where they're turning out 706s for the GPO and nicked 10 off the production line and just stuck the other dial bezel on to make them look the same and oiked them out with the genuine N1900s. And that does happen. That does happen. I've had one or two that have been like that, and you'll find the capacitors inside them, the N1900s, often marked GPO as well and stuff like that.
I think this one's got a GPO. There's one GPO on it.
They usually are. Them big silver capacitors have normally got a blue stamp.
Big ones, There's the bell capacitor, isn't it? And the it's a double capacitor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the bell capacitor. It's the thing that is now the tiny capacitor inside your line jack.
Yeah.
So it's the thing you wire out basically, so it never matters if it works or not.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of weird stuff like that, you know. So you just have to see what you get, sort of thing.
They were saying about there was a 706 out there that looked like a 706, but it got a single bell in it in the back or something like that. But externally, it had exactly the same 706 case, but it got the bell in the back.
Don't know about that. There are certainly 746s that have only got one bell coil in.
Yeah.
And the bell coil is horizontally rather than vertically.
The Pi's only got one. The Pi's only got one bell coil in it.
Yeah. The bell coil is a very similar bell coil to what they put in the Jubilee phones.
Yeah.
In the bell sets of the Jubilees. With a single coil bell. But there's all sorts of oddball ones out there.
Yeah.
And
there's so many factories making phones, though, weren't there? And all went around it slightly different.
There must have been about 30 or 40 manufacturers.
Yeah.
At one time. I mean,
I keep coming across new ones I've never recognised before. I have to look on there again on the British Telephones website. They give you a list of all the phone manufacturer codes.
Yeah.
And there's I think there's one with TEA that came from down south London somewhere like that. And EET, that's Beeston, Nottingham, Plessy. They're about 4 or 5 factories.
Yeah.
I believe there was one round here somewhere at one time.
Yeah, they were all over the place. They were all over the place. And then occasionally you get these Portuguese ones that look like 706s but have come back from Portugal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that really throws a spanner in works when one of them turns up.
They sort of like, I mean, they sold the 706 all over the world. I mean, you hear about people in America who've got 706s. In Canada, particularly, I think Canada have bought a lot of 706s off us.
I don't know how copyright worked and stuff, because there's all these different companies, all these different factories making this exactly the same product.
Yeah.
But they're all totally separate companies.
Yeah.
Totally separate factories. They're making this product for this customer.
Yeah.
But somehow they're also allowed to make a knockoff version of it themselves that they can sell to anybody.
Yeah.
So,
but they're not allowed to use the number. Yeah. That's why you get these often. Yeah.
As the copyright or what, I do not know.
Well, some people say that it was actually Ericsson that developed the 706 in the first place. So the N1900 series is the original 706.
That could well be the case, but if that's the case, then how come like Plessy are allowed to do it as well? Because Plessy do a knockoff one, and Pony do a knockoff one, and
GEC and
GEC do, and I'm sure there's lots of others that do. The one on my desk when we do the Sunday live show, that black one on my desk, I think that's a GEC one.
Yeah. I've had a few GEC ones come through. Quite a few come through with TEA on as well. I can't remember where that's from. It's somewhere down south.
Yeah.
HAS. What's that one? HAS.
Yeah. So some of them don't mean anything because it's just a factory. You get different ones that were actually the same company, just different factories.
Yeah. Well, like Kumkan, the very final ones have FWG labels. And apparently that means Northern Telecom. The older ones have FWR on, which was British Telecom /GPO.
Yeah, I think they're different colour as well. I think the FWR ones are yellow and the FWG ones are red, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Well, white.
Oh, no, the FWR ones are red.
This one's white on this one. It's all backwards on here, but yeah.
Oh, that's different. Not seen one like that.
Yeah.
But I've got yellow ones and red ones.
I think the very last ones, when did Cumcarn close? Was it in the 1990s or something?
I don't know exactly. I don't know. I don't know what it was doing in its latter years. It certainly wasn't refurbishing 700 series phones.
I think they were making Statesmen and stuff like that, probably.
Yeah, they might have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was 90-ish, early 90s, probably.
Yeah.
When they went, because I think they basically went when BT or Telecom or whatever it was at the time decided they weren't going to supply phones anymore.
Yeah.
We'll give you a phone, but you have to buy it now.
Yeah.
And then you rent your line.
Yeah.
That when it goes wrong, we don't have to come out and mend it.
Yeah.
So we can make them out of chocolate now. It doesn't matter, because when it breaks next week, we've not got an obligation to come out and fix it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why Protelex can get away with making what they make now.
Yeah. That's so you get these G-Mark things and these GPO things. They're quite bad. The ones that sort of knock off the GPO logo, and they've just altered two of the corners on the old GPO logo just so it's not copyright.
Yeah,
But they make record players as well. You've never seen such an awful record player as there.
Yeah.
They're like cardboard record players. It's ridiculous. But yeah, they're not very good at all.
I think they're based on them Crossley things that people always tell you about. Never buy a Crossley.
I think the Crossley things are the same. I think it's just a different name that they use, because Crossley's another old company name that they're just knocking off, basically.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same people doing it.
Yeah.
So some of them say GPO and some of them say Crossley off.
Yeah.
But they look the same to me. I can't see any difference. The only ones you have to really watch, are the trim phones, because some of the Repro trim phones, visually, just to look at a picture, are really, really good.
They look very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you see them on eBay, you really, really have to concentrate on the trim phones to make sure you're not buying them. You have to look for that star and the ash on the dial. If you've got that star and the ash there, I move on.
And it's definitely, I mean, that's the thing that marks a modern one from a old one, obviously, with the extra facilities on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing you have to watch for. Well, you get all sorts.
Yeah.
I mean, I just picked one up at the side of me here. It's got a weird GEC mark on the bottom of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 1974. Yeah, I've had one like that with the original GEC logo. Yeah.
Yeah, proper GEC. And then it says
no code is GEN.
Now the question is, did that leave the factory as a 746, or did it leave the factory as something for GEC with it having that on? Did it?
They called them Gecko phones or something, didn't
they? Yeah, I think they did, didn't they? Geophone or Gecko phone.
Gecko phone or something like that, yeah.
But the question is, was that a BT one or was that a GEC?
No, if it's a 746 on it, it's a GPO BT one.
Not necessarily, because sometimes they pinch them off the line. Off the GPO line, a finished phone.
Yeah.
With a GEC sticker.
Yeah.
send it on their private job sort of thing. So
yeah.
You've got no real way of knowing. You can have a good guess, but you've got no real way of knowing. And then when people like me and you come along and swap bits around, of course, it makes it even more complicated. What I think we ought to do, I watched that repair shop program on the TV.
Yeah.
And the guy on there that does clocks, Steve, that does clocks on there. He's pretty good, is Steve. And he says that when he takes a clock apart, maybe 100, 200 years old, he often finds a little noting from the last clock repairer that had it.
Yeah.
To say what they'd done and when they'd done it and what the customer were like. And I thought, that's a good idea. We ought to do that with telephones.
Inside the phone.
I have done a few. Well, I've put a little note inside of what I've done and when I've done it and that. So if ever you get on with a folded up note inside, it's probably me.
Yeah. Well, all mine have a serial number on the bottom, and they're all in a catalogue. So I know exactly what I've done to them. Yeah. So basically, there's a serial number on there. The here, that number there.
There, yeah.
Yeah. I know it shows backwards. Is it showing backwards on your screen?
No, it's right way around on mine, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's PH and then a 3-digit number. It's the number, the serial number. And I can refer back to that in the catalogue.
Yeah.
And
I'll keep
customer rings me up and says, well, what's your serial number? Oh, PH060. That's a red 746 or whatever. I could tell you if I decided to put a roach tone in it or something, or the customer wanted a roach tone putting in it or something, they're the sort of things that I can look at the catalogue and say, what happened to it, and what repairs I had to do, and what mobs I had to do.
Yeah.
And they'll go in the catalogue.
Yeah.
To save having something inside the phone itself, which can easily get lost, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get all sorts. Yeah.
But,
yeah. Well, I think I better go take the dog for a walk.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get myself a cup of tea now.
Yeah.
And,
always talking and do these repair cafe things, it makes you need a drink.
Yeah. How often do repair cafes happen, by the way?
We've just started doing these virtual ones again. Basically, because there's no chance of the real physical ones coming back at the minute. And I think we're going to do these virtual ones weekly.
Yeah.
And see who turns up every week. Because there's a lot of people that haven't been on tonight. They'll probably turn up next week.
Yeah, it'd be nice to meet more of the people doing this.
Yeah.
And all the other things that I'm going to have a go at doing eventually, like the television project. I mean, I've got a chassis which I'm working on, or have been working on and off for about 2 years.
Gordon, who was briefly on earlier, Gordon, who said he had to go and have his supper.
Yeah.
And then he never came back. He's your man for televisions.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff with CRT tubes and the high voltages that kick around in the back of televisions.
Yeah. I might have that on the table if they come along next week, same time.
Yeah, right about same time, same place.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully we'll have resolved this phone as well, sorted it out.
Yeah.
Whether we've got to glue something in or whatever, but obviously there's a bit of work needs doing. But fortunately, the customer does know.
There's something not right in the back end of that, I think. I think if you take that bell mechanism out, and see what's supporting the back end or what's not supporting the back end as it appears there.
Yeah.
It may be a new base plate needed. It's looking like. To me. But
are they quite hard to come by, base plates on their own? Bit,
it's one of the things I think probably when you're looking for one, yeah. But when you're not looking for one, you'll see thousands.
Yeah.
But if you need any bits, give me a shout, because I'm sure I have got some of them plastic chassis somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might not be an Ericsson one. It might not be an N1900 one. It might be a BT one, but the chassis bit will be the same.
They'll be the same. Yeah. Okay.
So if you need any bits, give me a shout.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
I shall go and wend my way then. It's been nice to talk to you anyway.
It's been good. Yeah. Okay.
Keep up the good work with Etsy.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Right, cheers, Matt. I'll catch you soon. Cheers.
Okay then. Right then.
Bye.
Bye.